And lo, they say, when there is stream delays, there will be technical issues. Hello. Welcome to the stream, everybody. Cannot help but notice that apparently at some point during our stream tonight, we did have dropped frames. That's not great. Okay, well, and also, on top of that, I was having some issue with getting the... Here, give me a second, I'm going to move myself real quick. I had a little bit of issue with getting the Ethernet set up on this thing. That's very interesting. I mean, like Ethernet on my phone, I should say, not Ethernet on my computer. So I think a completely separate issue. So that's interesting. I'm just going to take a note of that for a little bit later. Hopefully we won't run into any other like strange problems. Oh, also, I'm a little bit too far down now. Come on. Line up. Line up, you jerk. Hello. Hello. Welcome. Welcome to stream. Good to see you all today. Also, I needed to go and do a little bit of squip swapping of the filament that I currently have that is in the dryer. So, yeah, I had to take care of that right away. Because that's one of those things that's like, you need to make sure you take care of that at, like, proper intervals and stuff. Because, like, it takes a long time to get that stuff done. So, the more on the ball you are with taking care of it, the more time you save. Anyway, let's see. Add below stream for batteries. Just regular batteries. I mean, batteries are important. They run a whole bunch of things in your life, I guess. Anyway, today I have set up the stream call stuff, so hopefully this will work like a charm. Hopefully. I don't know. I guess we'll see. If anybody comes in and decides to bother me during stream call-wise, then we will know that it works perfectly fine. I don't know. We'll see. Let's see. What else is currently going on in the chats here? You guys talking about... Tongue face. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Also, FB subscribed at tier 1 while I was gone. How dare you? How dare you subscribe to me while I can't thank you and I'm not, like, on screen? Hey. Subscribe to me when I'm here, dang it. But anyway, thank you very much for that. I appreciate that. 16 months, good God. And you have been supporting me for, I think, far longer than that. So I appreciate that a lot. Here, let me move this stuff over here. I just noticed that I've got, like, some, an interesting amount of, what is it? I don't know. Just a little bit more movement in certain motions. I think it's like the downward movement. I don't know if I like that. That seems a little bit like wonky. But I don't know, maybe I'm weird, maybe I'm wrong with that. I'm distracted by the Kirby, but you are welcome to. You're distracted by the Kirby? You mean Chatty Frog? the one that Chatty Frog posted? Or yeah, that one? That one right there? Sorry, my chat is over there. The chat that I'm supposed to be looking at is over there. I suppose I could technically look at that. Look at the chat directly. Hello. I can bend down just like, hello. Hello, chat. I can't keep my my connection, though. Planet Robobot! Woo! That's awesome. I like that. Now, I need to play Robobot at some point. That is on my list of to-dos. My tracker does not like soda cans in any way, shape, or form. Anyway. So yeah, today is going to be a casual stream, and also, simultaneously, I will be playing some Power Wash Simulator. Because I haven't done that in a while. I think it's time to bring that back. And also, we are going to be taking a look at some DLC that recently dropped for it. So, yeah, that's the plan. Let me go ahead and start up some things real quick. Make sure the Discord call is live. Guess you just got out of the hospital this Friday. Oh, I hope you're all right. Good God. All right, let me move on over to this side here. Da-da-da-da. What you drinking? A Beepus? a simple, regular, standard Beepus. It's okay. Anyway, So yeah, this thing, Alice's Adventures. Down, down, dab at the rabbit hole we go. Wonderland awaits you. Your washing skills to restore 5 new maps to fabulous glory in the Alice Adventures special pack. Available now. I've already gotten the thing. So yes, I can do exactly that. Here we go. Where is it at? There you be. Yeah, what's interesting is that I found out that this particular DLC was published by Square Enix. And I was looking around trying to figure out, like, why? Why would specifically Square Enix be publishing that? Like, Square Enix doesn't make the Power Simulator, as far as I know. So it's kind of weird. It's just like, why is this being published by them? Do they have, like, a particular IP lock on Alice in Wonderland? Which I don't think you can. I'm pretty sure Alice in Wonderland is public domain. Unless we're talking like a specific variation of Alice in Wonderland. Like in that case, then maybe, but I don't know. It's strange. Luckily, I'm Canadian. Oh, thank God. It just takes you forever to see a doctor, which is no different in our states. All right. Sharing is caring. I can't throw Beepus through the frickin'... I can't put, like, Beepus through the internet. Did you try the new spiced cola thing? Yeah, I did. Funny enough, it's not... I mean, technically, it is Coca-Cola spiced. Like, it's spiced, I guess. But, like, it's more fruity, you know? Or what was it? Well, interestingly, I think the thing, like, the ingredient I think they're using to actually pull off the whole spice thing, I think is ginger. Because it was an interesting sort of, like, hot... Like, I don't know. It's sort of a burn spice as opposed to, like, you know, a snap spice. Which is kind of like what I expected it to be, but it wasn't. And yeah, and as for the flavor, it's just kind of like a Coke with some fruit added to it. I wasn't massively impressed by it, honestly. Especially with mental health. Understood. Magically take it from desk. Cranberry? Oh. Did not think about cranberry being the flavor. Okay, so let's go ahead and press start here. Wonderland entrance hall. Okie dokie. Also, how's the headbend? Like, is it... I think I'm looking a little bit too far that way. Here, can I adjust the camera real quick? Here, go into settings. Which one of these settings would be... I mean, I don't know if movement range would be it. I think the movement range is fine. Head tilt range? I'm going to adjust that a little bit because I think it's a little bit too... nod range a little bit too... Pelvis stiffness. If I lower that all the way down... Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it does anything. Maintain hip position, tracking smoothing, body smoothing. Apply head. Okay, I don't know. Apply neck. I don't know what this does. Root twist. Gaze strength. I'm not entirely sure. I'm setting that down, like, back here. And there's AR kit related stuff. Oh, yeah, this is probably it. Ooh, okay. Rotation range. Ah, there we go. I think that'll do it. Head tilt range, nod range. Altitude? Okay. Depth. Oh. There's the pelvic stiffness. There we go. I don't know. Maintain hip position. Whee! I've turned down smoothing just because I feel like it's a little less one-to-one. Personally. Jitter removal. Yeah, sure, that's fine. Wait. Apply head. Neck. Oh, dear. Oh, jeez. Head. Head stuck. Don't want that. Spine. Hip rotation and stuff. Okay. All right. Okay, that makes sense. Oh, that's the gaze strength. Ah! Don't look at the back of my eyes! That's amazing. Alright. You didn't see that. There we go. Ah, JJ's here. How you doing? This new Power Wash DLC? Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's new Power Wash DLC. Oh, turn that off. Hush. But yeah, it's Alice in Wonderland. Super excited about that. I mean, I'm not massively into Alice in Wonderland, but I know what it is. Woo! Hey. Okay, the fix-it with the portable spittle gun and not a moment too soon. Hurry, hurry. An awful child, of that there can be no doubt, has besieged us. Not only did she eat and drink that which wasn't hers, but she then cried herself a river with which to make her escape. She has besmirched both the reputation of wonderful children the world over and the walls of our once great hall. I'm already far too late to explain it much more, but we would very much appreciate you getting to it. The sooner you can it can be done, the sooner we can all forget it happened in the first place. Ah, I see. I'm late for a very important date. I'll have to check this out. Yeah. Oh, dear freaking God. All right, down the rabbit hole. Nice. Clever shit. But anyway, apparently Alice has made a hell of a mess of this situation. Good freaking God. Just finished another art fight attack. Gonna be around for half an hour before I go. Yeah, I've seen some of your art fight stuff. It's pretty good. Can I clean the plants? Can I clean the dirt? Can I clean the person that has the engine that is stupidly loud that maybe the, you know, that the audio filter might have caught, but probably didn't? Anyway, here. I want you out of the way. There we go. Okay, wow. So, my first thought with this is that, like, we're going to be dealing with a lot of, like, non-straight geometry, which is going to be hell when it comes to doing this game. But, oh well. I guess we will begin. So, we're working on the corridor into Alice's, spot. Ooh, sparklies. Oh, it's a tiny house. Hey, Cheshire, how you doing? Oh, don't you do that. That's terrifying. Okay. I'm upset about when I was... Oh, yeah, sorry. No, totally understandable. Ow, Jesus! Thank you, Silver. Silver just comes in, lobs the thing at me, and is just like, okay, I'm gonna lurk, see ya. I appreciate. It's a super funky Cheshire Cat. I'm sure they had to go for, like, a design for the Cheshire Cat that, like, was very brand friendly. Welcome to our great hall. I hope we can trust you to behave more reasonably than that child, Alice. A more awful creature you couldn't hope to find without adding whiskers, sharp claws, and calling it a... Oh. It! Yeah, stop it! No, I can't even say it. Is that too loud? Give me a second. Which channel is that on? I believe that's on this channel. Ow! I think it's on this channel. I don't know. Somebody throw something else at me so I can look at the audio outputs. Okay, yeah, it is on the... I said one thing! Jesus! Give me cookie. Oh, thank you. Anyway. I think that will do. We all acted together as a hive mind. Suppose I did ask for it, so, you know. What am I complaining about? Anyway. So, let's clean some stuff up and all of that jazz. So, anyways. So, recently, I have been working on just, you know, 3D printer related stuff. And, that's going pretty good. Oh, man. So you know that one project that I was talking about the other day, the one with I have a friend who has got a birthday coming up pretty soon here, and I decided I wanted to make them like all of the frickin' fidget toys. I was basically like, yes, I'm going to flood you with fidget toys. Be prepared. I just found I found two more. I swear to God, there are so many. And I haven't even like exhausted all of the different tags that I think exist that could possibly have fidget toys hiding in them. So I'm still looking. I hope they appreciate these things and they don't just go like, oh, wow, you filled my home with all of these like useless trinkets. Thank you. I appreciate that very much. You know, I hope so. I mean, I think they're fun. Here, I pulled up some pictures of them before the stream. Let me go and find them. Yeah, trinkets are fun. Like, you don't have a funny bone in your body or a fun bone? Here. Okay, so I was talking about this one the other stream. Is this guy? These things are fun. Like, basically, it's just a bunch of like interlocking rings that like, you know, they're all separate, but they're like sized so that they're stuck together and all that stuff. Who doesn't like trinkets? I don't know. Depends on how many trinkets you got, I suppose. I like stupid trinkets. But anyway, I printed one of these things, and it's pretty fun. The only problem that I have with it is that, what's a good way? Too small. I tried to look for a bigger one, but I'm just like, too tiny. I need it to be larger. I want to be bigger. So I went and I did a little bit of searching to try and find a bigger one, and bada bing ol' bangle bingus, I found one. Not the same shape, but it is much bigger. In fact, this is the medium size. There does exist actually, I think this is the medium size. I think it is. I don't know. There's a small, a medium, and a large. I printed the medium one because I think medium is palatable for basically most people. Small is, again, a little bit too small. The large one, on the other hand, large one is a little bit excessive. The large one is so big, I literally can't even fit it in my printing space without, like, modifying the model a little bit. Maybe I'll go for it. You know what? As a curiosity, I think I might go for it. Possibly. But as a gift, I think I definitely wanted to go for more of a medium size. And yeah, spinny thing. Oh, I have it literally right here. Wait. Yeah. You can't see it, but it's right here. And yeah, I mean, this thing is fun to slide around on a table and watch the shapes sort of like move independently of themselves. That's fun. But also, it like, again, all the layers interlock. So like, good sound. Agreed. Hold on a second. It's funky, that's for sure. I don't know. This is genuinely a really fun thing to just sort of like fiddle around with. So also on top of that, I decided that it would be really cool to print this thing in clear plastic. Problem is this plastic is only as clear as it'll allow you to make it, and like, it's not that clear. It's still like, you know, it's very cloudy, but it's clear enough that like you can sort of see like very light patterns and shapes behind it, and it's freaking cool. I think I made a good call. Clear plastic is neat. May I nom? No! Again, PLA, I wouldn't say it's super toxic, but I wouldn't say it's edible. Don't do the thing. Swirly. Yeah, kind of like this game. Kind of like all the swirls on the walls. Oh, sorry, you can't see them. I want to lick it. Again, please don't. I don't know the toxicity involved with PLA. Probably not that bad, but I would... No! Do not consume the plastic! Do not macroplastic. That's not healthy for you. Anyway, so there was that, and then there's one more thing that I found that I went like, you know, I'm already making a present that's really similar to this. Because here's my goal. I don't want to just, like, make a whole bunch of the exact same type of fidget device. I want all of them to have a distinctive, like, difference to each of them. This one was very similar to another one that I was planning on gifting. However, it's different enough that I went like, okay, sure, let's go with it. And it's this guy right here. There we go. Basically, it's a little cog gear wheel. And again, I have another one right here that you literally cannot see. But it basically do a spin. And like the gears on the inside basically seamlessly connect between the inner, the inner gear and the outer ring. And again, it makes a fun little spin thing going on. Been babysitting the plastic-eating chat, right? Just desperately trying to get you guys to not accidentally kill yourselves on, like, you know, the horrible plastics and the consumes. Looks very yummy. Yeah, at some point, I'm just gonna give up. I'll just be like, fine, here's an entire spool. Have fun. Have fun, Junior. You're fitting the you are fitting the hospital bill, and you better hope that you also live in Canada. Like, you know, like our good friend Chatty. Sometimes I wish I was in Canada. Anyway, actually, I think visiting Canada would be a fun thing, honestly. But anyway, yeah, no, it's just kind of spinny. It's got a nice, fun texture on the outside of it that feels like very ridgy and kind of neat. I'm in Australia. We got Medicare. Yay! Free plastic for everyone in Australia. A cooler looking fidget spinner, I suppose. But see, the issue with making any 3D prints is that all of them in some capacity are going to have some issues when it comes to friction. Like, people have tried to design things in 3D printers that are as frictionless as they possibly can. But, you know, there's only so much that you can do about that. Also, you have to, like, grease the parts if you want them to be, like, super frictionless. I'm not saying it's not possible, because it is. You can actually 3D print ball bearings. But at the end of the day, an actual set of, like, milled ball bearings is going to be a lot better than getting something 3D printed like that. Like, it's not going to have nearly the staying power that something like a fidget spinner. Fidget spinner. I love English. I love my brain. It does the best things. All right, let's get rid of that. So, yeah, having a heck of a lot of fun with that. Ooh, look at this. Look at this door. Oh, it's been so long since I played Power Wash Simulator. Freaking hell. Where are the bounding barriers for, like, all of the individual parts here? Like, how much of the trim on this wall is one hitbox? I wonder to myself. Curious. ASMR. It's like ASMR, except with, like, a backtrack of music. Is that a thing? Can you do ASMR with also music in the background? I know that there's, like, singing bowls and stuff. But, like, I've always kind of considered that to be its own thing. Does anybody do ASMR while also simultaneously having music in the background? I feel like that's counterintuitive. I don't know. Am I crazy? I know I have attempted to try and, like, do more, like, meditative stuff. Just because, like, genuinely, I have found it very relaxing to just do sort of, what is it, like guided meditations and stuff, where it's just, you lie back and you just sort of, well, depending on the type of guided meditation, like, you might be doing a couple of different things. Like, oh, a body scan, so you just, you know, get a feel for where all the parts of the body are and all that jazz, and you know, it tells you to relax each individual segment of the body. I think it definitely helps with anxiety, though. Like, you need to be open to perceive it, is the thing. You know, like, you can't just tell somebody just like, hey, feel relaxed. And then suddenly they're absolutely relaxed. And you also need to, like, sort of, I don't want to say believe in it, because that's not really the right words for it. It's more like you need to you need to be open to the want, I guess, to be relaxed through meditation. That was super hard when I was, like, first trying to do guided meditations, because I'm a snarky son of a gun. Did you know this, people? Did you know that I have too much snark underneath my bones? I bet you never would have guessed. I do. And unfortunately, while I'm, like, sitting there and taking in the guided meditation, I'll, like, suddenly get thrown off because suddenly I'll be thinking, like, what's a good example? Basically, here's a good thing. I'm a... No, definitely not. /S. Anyway, good example. I am kind of a stickler when it comes to audio quality. And so, for me, if I'm in the middle of, like... If I'm going to listen to somebody's guided meditation, it's got to be decent audio quality. Because if I hear them and it sounds like it's coming through a toaster... my head just goes like... yes, you got on the iPhone mic today. It's like, not even the iPhone mic. The iPhone mic was probably going to be even better than this. Are you talking through a World War II, like, photograph? What is going on? I should have said World War I phonograph. World War I was when phonographs were more of a thing. I think. Or wait, did the phonograph happen after World War I? I'm trying to remember. I remember a lot of technologies, like, after the war, like, World War I, ended up being incorporated into more consumer goods. Ooh, $28 earbuds from Amazon. What's the catch? That's my first thought. Catch. What would you not be getting in this deal is my thoughts. Pretty pink chest. Yeah, I know, right? Did I get all of the angles of this chest? I don't think I did. I'm just going to assume I did. 50% off. I don't know, whenever... See, here's that snarky jadiness coming in again. I hear, like, 50% off on something that was sold on Amazon, and I'm thinking, was it actually on 50% off, or is this a case of, like, this was already a really cheap thing that they were selling and saying that there was a markup on it, and therefore, like, you ended up... I don't know. I guess I'd have to know the name brand. If I knew the name brand, then maybe I'd be able to say something, but... Look at all the teacups on the wall. You did. Blinked earlier. Blinked earlier? Wait, what are we referring to? Sorry. Brain going burr. Soundcore. I haven't heard of it, but I don't know. If it's something like, oh yeah, it was like, a Belkin or whatever the heck, I would have been like, oh, Belkin. I have not heard of that. So, at least it's not like a 6-letter product. Actually, no. Actually, wait. Yeah, question. Did it come from a company that had 6 letters in their name? And did the letters seem all random? There's another question. Mm-hmm. Oh, okay, it did ding. I blinked. Gotcha. Doesn't matter. Like, the game is going to end up telling me the spots that I missed later. And then it's a fun little, scavenger hunt. But thanks for the update. Now, the other day I learned an interesting thing about Amazon, and that is, I mean, basically there's no quality left on Amazon, or at least most of the products that are currently being sold through Amazon, a large portion of them, tend to be companies that are, like, springing out of nowhere and then making really cheap, inferior versions of products and then, selling them on Amazon, like, Because let's be real. There are some times where you go to buy something on Amazon and you don't really care what the brand is specifically. All you care about is like, is it easy? Is it cheap? Is it, is it really convenient for me? Can you get it to me on time? That kind of thing. And so a lot of these opportunist companies sprung out of the woodwork and was just like, hello, we make super cheap thing and we can release it to you right the heck now. But the reason why they can do it that cheap is because, they made it cheap and the product sucks. But most of us kind of shrug and don't care. And then the product breaks, and then for a lot of people, they look at that and they go, oh man, well, the product was super cheap, so, what was I expecting? I could return it, but that's a heck of a, that's a lot of unnecessary stress on my end. Meh. I don't think I'm going to return it. And that's how they get away with that. And I've learned that there are a couple of, telltale signs that you can see when it comes to companies like that. Apparently there are a lot of companies on Amazon that, if they have 6 letters in their name, that's a very big telltale sign. Because a lot of companies that have 6 letters in their name are, basically just, rapidly generating a new, brand name, so to speak. And I think it's that there's some sort of a specific benefit that companies get for signing on their themselves as a specific type of company, or label themselves underneath a specific LLC, if I remember correctly. And that is entirely to take advantage of that little I'm not going to say loophole, but that advantage. So yeah, you see a name that doesn't really make any real level of sense, or one that just seems just a little bit iffy and not really English, that it might be a company that's making a cheap product. What other signs are there? There are a couple of other ones. Do you drink tea? Not really. I've never really massively been into tea. In fact, whenever I eat something that even remotely tastes like it came from the outside and tastes like grass, it kind of triggers this part of my brain that goes that's not food, don't eat that. So for me, tea, I drink it, and, I don't hate tea, but I sit there and I'm just this doesn't feel right. This just feels wrong somehow. Which sucks. I think that's one of those things that as I get older, I'll probably appreciate tea a lot better, That happens with a lot of foods, honestly. Especially recently, there's certain foods I remember I absolutely despised. And then as I got older, I realized just wait, no, I've been sleeping on this. Holy crap. This is amazing. What am I doing? This is a bad... So, for maybe for tea, that might happen with me. I don't know. Anyway, is there any more stuff involved with Amazon products? I'm trying to remember where I learned this. There was a specific video that I watched. Oh God, what was it? I don't know. Somebody went to order something off of Amazon, and they ended up just getting the cheapest freaking thing, and then they went down the rabbit hole and they found out this information. But God, I don't remember what that video was and who it was. Used to take a sip from my moose tea in the morning when I was a kid, and now I really don't like it. Yep, yeah, the opposite is true too. Well, here's a good example. I remember when I was younger, I used to be really, really, really into sweet potatoes, massively, to a point where my parents actually gave me the nickname Sweet Potato when I was a baby. I freaking love them. But nowadays, I eat sweet potatoes and I just go, bleh. I'm just what the hell? And I don't know when it happened. For some reason, just there was a switch in my brain that just went, you don't like this anymore. I'm what the frick? Flip that back. I mean, look, I don't think sweet potatoes were healthy, don't get me wrong. But, why you gotta get rid of that? Why can't I have that in my palate? Ooh, I think the edges of this table are like really scuzzy. Yuck. Disgusting. Relatable. There we go. Have I gotten the entirety of the candles? There we go. That's some funky stuff, man. I kind of figured you meant mums. He's cool. I got it. I understood. There we go. So, do you know what this Alice did? Oh, by all means, Mr. Mouse, tell me. I'll tell you. Well, do it! First, she wafted around saying how ridiculous it was to have a room filled with different sized doors. Oh, man. I wonder how accurate this is to the story. Like, there's got to be somebody who is a massive Alice fan who's, like, reading this being like, they did the thing. Does she not realize how ridiculous it is to call someone something ridiculous before even taking the time to ask someone, is this in fact ridiculous? That's freaking great. Again, if you're a fan of Alice, oh boy. I hope you are here, and I hope you are enjoying the ever-loving hell out of this. How does a child make mold on the whole ceiling and furniture? Yeah, good question. What the heck did Alice do? Did he just set off like a gigantic dirt bomb here? Like, I'm gonna... benefit of the doubt here. I'm gonna say that this isn't mold. I'm gonna say that, like, oh, it's probably just a lot of dirt. How Alice, of all people, managed to pull this off, I don't know. I'm assuming that... I mean... Well, here's a positive note. It's a good thing that the people in Wonderland are apparently just as mindful when it comes to dirt and grime. So, you know, at least... Again, you're having a nice, clean drug trip. There we go. We be washing. Okay, we have some more pictures currently sitting over here. Oh, dear. How long is this particular DLC going to take me? Like, look how far I've gotten here. What the fuck? There's so much more to do! I mean, we filled this entire segment with, like, you know, talks and all that jazz. But yeah, this is a heck of a lot of, like, stuff that's got to be cleaned. And we haven't even gotten to that. It's been half an hour. Imagine Hat Kid did this to Snatcher's Treehouse. Man, okay, if the... Mod support! Mod support! I don't know. I know that, like, that's kind of one of the things that Power Wash Simulator currently has an edge up on. Like, you know, they're able to make DLC and release it and make money off of it. So, you know, I'm sure that, like, the Power Wash Sim people probably would want to be getting in touch with, like, Gears for Breakfast and, like, just making a DLC as opposed to opening up mod support. But I want it. That'd be great. And also, on top of that, there's just certain stuff that, like, you're never going to see a DLC come out for, like, you know, Power Wash Sim. Like, old IP that just is never, ever, 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 ever going to show up here. Mods for Power Wash would be amazing. Agreed, yes! Yes! I want it! I'm trying to think of, like, all the scenarios and all the things. Like, okay, let's talk like old properties. All right, let's be real. What are the chances, do you think, that Nintendo, of all people, would ever allow for their IP to end up showing up in Power Wash Simulator? I mean, the chances are not zero, but I can't imagine it's very high. So, I would like to see some mods come out for Power Wash Sim where it's just like Nintendo IP. Like Babam Battlefield or something. You know? I think that'd be fun. Ooh, got stuff to do. Thanks for coming in, JJ. I appreciate it. Again, good luck on Arcfight. I think it would be fun to, like, you know, a Hat in Time mod where, yeah, you go to Subcon Forest and you clean up all the smelly, disgusting stuff. Again, cleaning up the entirety of Snatcher's tree, perhaps, like you said. I'm not sure how, like, maybe the tree is a little bit too tall. Maybe they could, like, specify that it's only, like, the lower portion of it, possibly. I don't know. I just don't imagine that they'd want you to be jumping up that high. There we go. I'm trying to think of, like, some scenes from Deadbird Studios as well. What about the entire lobby? Like, somebody just, like, exploded a big old, like, dirt grime bomb, and now you gotta go and clean all the stuff, like, in the lobby, including, like, the posters and all the trophies and things. Hat Kid Spaceship is an absolute, like, I don't know, like, that would be, like, a massive amount of content. Are you kidding me? There's so many rooms in that spaceship that you could clean up. Roomby cannot clean every single mess on the planet, okay? Sometimes Roomby needs help. The Owl Express train? Possibly, yeah. Or, oh, think about this. Cleaning the Owl Express train. Not the inside of it, but the outside. My train got all gunked up. I need you to go out and clean the outside. Really shine it up. This baby's got a movie to film. So get it done quick. This shit writes itself, man. Make it happen. Make it happen. The Hat in Time... Dude, seriously, Gears for Breakfast has, like... They've done collaborations with Weirder, okay? If Gears for Breakfast can do a collaboration with frickin' Among Us, of all people... frickin' Innersloth... I think they could talk with Future Labs. There we go. Trying to think of some other examples of some things that need, like, a proper cleaning. Well, also, I'm trying to think of, like, messes. I mean, obviously, Mafia Town's gotta be one. Maybe you could tie it into the mud puddles that you can find in Mafia Town at certain points. Possibly. I think that could work. DJ Grooves. Okay, now I'm trying to think of, like, Alpine. What would they clean in Alpine? That's a tough one. I'm not sure. Because, you know, there was the illness and all that jazz. But was that really... I don't know. That made a mess, but I don't really associate that with, like, dirt. Conductor just grabs a water bottle and then splashes it on DJ Grooves to clean his penguin smell. Maybe Captain's Room from Seal the Deal or slowly cleaning the cruise. I think, yeah, somewhere on the cruise ship could definitely be used for something like that. It's got to be, like, noteworthy stuff, you know? It's got to be stuff that, like, you saw in the game and you went, oh, that... You know, it's kind of like, oh, the Owl Express train. Absolutely. Like, cleaning the outside of that would be perfect for a level. Vanessa's Manor. There is nothing that can clean that. There is no helping you. But for real, though, yes. I think a Vanessa's Manor level would be very nice. How you would do that, I don't... So, I'm imagining that, like... Oh. Oh, dear God. Alright. So I'm imagining a scenario where, like, you are invited by Vanessa, and she would just be like, you know, I may have gone a little bit crazy there. The place isn't looking as decadent as it used to be. I need you to clean it a little for me. And then you have to go and, like, clean some of the stuff on the walls. There's only so much you can do, though. Like, you know, you're a power washer. You can't exactly, like, fix torn paintings and stuff like that. But, you know, you could do your best, I guess. Probably have to sneakily clean it. I think that'd be an interesting mechanic. But although, like, again, why would somebody care about cleaning Vanessa's manor? Who gives a rat's? I don't. That place can get all dingy and dirty as much as it wants. It's haunted. I ain't touching Angry X's room. No, no, no. There we go. Hey, clean around Subcon Forest with me. Just avoid that mansion. Heads into the mansion. What did I just say? You don't like to listen, do you? We did mention the cruise, and we were talking about, like, maybe the captain's quarters or something. The only place I can think of in the cruise ship that has a mess in it is, like, the kitchen, because the kitchen is absolutely splattered with all of the food that the seals have desperately tried to clean. So, that might work. Looking fancy so far. Looking good. We've made it into this corridor. Hello. For instance, could there be a perfectly good reason why this place has so many different sized doors? I don't know, could it? You're a mouse. I'm a human. Maybe we need different doors for that. Perhaps the animals who use the doors are also of different sizes? Perhaps every Sunday all those animals converge here for a tea and conversation? And how would you expect a walrus to use a door designed for a dormouse? We could say that the conductor's grandchildren made a mess. Possibly. Utterly ridiculous. Ding ding. Mouse has a point. Right, but, like, we're also living in a world where apparently all these animals can exist and converge, and up to that point, Alice didn't friggin' know. It's like if we went to an alien planet and they're just like, what, you haven't heard of flort boing? What the hell, man? That's a national pastime. What the hell's flort boing? Well, you see, it involves this little device called a flumbus. And what you do is you flurg in the flumbus until it flabberderps. And you're just sitting there like, yes, please continue. I totally understand what you're saying. We live in alien times, sir or madam. Actually, I don't even know if you have any gender with, gender specifics when it comes to aliens. Sorry, us humans are very ass backwards on that one. Yummy bagel. Woo! Tasty. Oh, shoot, this light isn't cleaned all the way. What the? Can't have that, can we? Meh. I'm very, like, manual when it comes to cleaning. Just like, nope, no ladders. Where should I DM you for a small voice commission? You can DM me via Discord if you wish. I also have my DMs open in places like... Oh, I have it on X, but God, I pay very little attention to X nowadays. I don't know. Or at least, like, I pay attention to X, but God, I don't like it, and I don't want to touch it, so I don't recommend it. Frickin' tweeter. I'm moving over more to, like, Blue Sky. So, I don't know. That's a place that has DMs that I could possibly talk in. I've heard some people talk about, like, they have concerns about the potential security when it comes to that. I'm not sure. Like, honestly, I'm not a tech expert or, like, a security expert when it comes to, like, encryption. So, could not say for sure on that one. Honestly, easiest answer, Discord. Just send me a Discord DM. I have my my DMs open, and I am, like, you know... I'm not going to say whether or not I will or will not do any particular DMs, by the way. Or, actually, no, not DMs. Any particular commissions, by the way. Like, I may do it, I may not. It depends on whether or not I'm, like, cool with it. And the context for whatever the heck it is. I want to clean Mafia HQ. It seems spacious, but not too big. Also, the kitchen majorly needs a clean. Agreed. Ah, Power Wash, 10 out of 10, says list. Howdy, listen. How's it going? Yep, currently cleaning Alice's locale. Like I said, really sad that we don't see more Power Wash Simulator content come out, but maybe it's the distance that makes the heart grow fonder. I don't know. Like, would I be okay, or, like, would I be cool with this content if more came out more often? I don't know. You tried. You get a gold star. Specifically, the pointy part of the gold star. Catch. Just, like, injects into me like a shuriken. Ah! There's a Kyle in here!
Ah!
Ah!
Oh, God.
No!
Time.
Hi, how you doing?
Hello.
Okay,
Doing
we can
good.
confirm. The calls do work.
A large surface area of the skin on my back has been rubbed raw.
Ooh. What the heck did you do?
I worked.
Oh. Fair.
Thing is, it's hot out there, and so I'm sweating a lot, and that soaks into my clothing.
Ew.
Soaked clothing, when it constantly rubs against skin, softens the skin and rubs it away.
Ew.
Yup. So I'm in pain.
Well, I'm currently doing the power washy thing. Still, like, heavily monitoring my internet to see if we have, like, you know, weird dropouts, which...
Yeah.
I had one major one apparently early in the stream, but I wasn't here to actually watch it. Oh, thank you for sending the message, Chatty.
I got a vacation coming up in a couple days here.
Oh, yeah? What vacation?
Heading out to the East Coast.
Ooh. Am I allowed to know what you're doing out there?
Yeah, my grandmother passed away and left a whole bunch of crap to the rest of our family.
Oh. Sorry to hear.
It was, we knew it was coming.
It's one of those. Okay.
But the, one of the things my dad wanted was an old desk. So we're going out there to go get that, and my parents decided we're going to use my vacation to do that.
Great. I mean, it makes sense. Unfortunately,
they would have figured it out on their own if I didn't agree, but yeah, it's still work. I like work.
I will say, old furniture, anything, especially something like a desk or a dresser or something like that, it's kind of worth its weight in myrrh nowadays. Because everything, you either go to, an actual person that does woodworking, or you spend out the nose for a real honest to god dresser, or you go to IKEA.
Speaking of weight, that sucker's going to be heavy considering it was owned by my grandmother.
Ugh, yeah. Now, what year you think that thing was? Like, when do you think it was made?
I do not have enough information to
Oh,
even
speaking of work,
hazard
back
a
to
guess.
working on stuff. Okay, Liz, thanks for coming in. Thanks for the lurk.
Played the crap out of Star Valor, but I'm looking for something more.
What's Star Valor?
Top-down space RPG.
Okay.
You run around and do stuff.
Mhm.
Mine, shoot, build. Well, maybe not that third one, but you mine and shoot.
What?
You can craft, if that counts as building.
I mean, every game has crafting in it, so that's
But
barely
I
even.
wanted something- But I wanted something more, and I may have done or dove into the deep end on this one.
Oh, what have I been playing as of recently? For me, I have recently been getting back into Hollow Knight just for like the memories of it, because I haven't touched that game in a while. I don't remember how. Have you followed anything Hollow Knight related or know much about it?
Nah, I know everybody keeps making jokes about the DLC never coming out.
Oh, it's not DLC. It's like the full-on sequel.
Yeah, they're still making jokes about it never coming out.
Yes. I mean, it's video games take time, but my god. It's like we get little like screenshot snippets like at complete random with no context, and then they disappear for a couple more years.
It's like Valve and their fear of the number 3.
I mean, we're not even up to 3. We are up to uno. We have not even reached dos.
This is just going to be another meme, just like that.
Or like Star Citizen, where it's just like the game will never actually come out.
Yeah.
They made an absolute shitload of money, and it will never actually come out.
Yeah. Speaking of Star Citizen, the game I'm trying to figure out how to play next is X4.
X4. XCOM, or like what?
The X series.
X. I've not heard of this.
It's a space RPG sandbox.
Okay. Sounds neat.
So far, it's incredibly complicated.
I mean, yeah.
Got a steep learning curve to it. Very in-depth.
Space RPG sounds like it would be in depth, so. God, what else have I been doing? I don't know. My brain is just kind of going burr when it comes to 3D printing at the moment, and that's all that's currently running through my head.
Blowing raspberries.
Oh yeah, that's right. I recently went and picked up. I didn't talk about this on the stream. I went and I picked up a filament dryer, which like that has definitely changed the game for me for sure. Like I bought a filament dryer and I also bought a pack of those like vacuum seal bags. It's like a Ziploc bag except it has like a little vacuum spot on it. One of those, boys? Now, question. Do you know what that is actually for when it comes to 3D printing?
No.
No? Yeah, funny enough, a lot of people
Also,
don't.
I'm trying to focus on 2 things at once, so I may not have entirely heard you.
That's fair. I'm also playing a game where it's very mindless.
You said something about a wicker basket and a remote-controlled snake?
Yes, exactly. Do you know where
Yeah.
Charlie went? Because he took that basket.
Those are really good for breaking out Cobra Commander from American Prison.
Chatty says, my cat just licked my eyelid. Ew. I don't know. Watch yourself for that. Don't get the infection. You say that, and the first thing I think is just how much that would hurt like hell for me.
Oh.
Because, like, I'm allergic. And any sort of, like, liquid or anything that gets, like... I think it's specifically the reason why you are allergic to cats is because they clean themselves using their tongues. And, like, their mouths have a specific enzyme that they produce that, like... I don't know. Like, I guess it's just an allergen to human beings, if I remember correctly. I think dander is also a factor, but I'm not sure what specifically.
That and their tongues are covered in barbs, so they're probably licking away layers of skin.
Well, I'm just thinking of like whenever like my skin, like if it gets penetrated in any way, shape, or form by like one of their claws, or heck, if my cat, like if my old cat Tommy were to, he's old and like whenever we're kind of like lying down somewhere and just chilling out, he will fall asleep like on my lap or in my arms, which is adorable. But also he spits or like he drools when he does that.
Nice.
Yeah, he's adorable. I love him to death. But problem with that is that like that's the part that I'm allergic to. So if it lands on my arm or somewhere like that, I'm a itch. So I'm just imagining a scenario where, like, you know, a cat would end up licking my eyelid, and then, like, that liquid would end up getting in my eye. I'm pretty sure that would not end well for me. Ding, ding.
Speaking of injury, I stabbed myself the other week.
The heck did you do?
I was using a special combination gardening tool. There's a root ripper, a saw, a knife, and a trowel all in one.
So that's 4 tools, and they're only 25% effective.
I mean, it worked just fine for what I needed it to.
Up until...
I was cutting off the limbs on a couple of trees, or trees right next to my house that I cut down.
Mm-hmm.
It started to grow branches again, so I was cutting those branches off. And at one point, I was like, you know what? I could probably just rip these off with my left hand, because I was holding the knife with my right.
Oh.
And as I was pulling with my left hand, I didn't realize that my right hand had pointed or was still pointing the knife towards the branches I was ripping out. The branches gave way, and I jammed my left arm into the root ripping part of the trowel.
Ugh, that ain't good.
That was a nice deep stab wound, too.
Jesus. Like, okay. So I'm hoping that didn't require, like, you know, intervention.
No.
Okay, so it wasn't, like, deep enough where we were just like, okay, hospital time.
No. I mean, I probably could have used maybe 1-2 stitches, but it would have been fine.
Christ. I'm currently playing the Alice Power Wash Simulator DLC.
Wonderland?
Yeah. I'm reading some messages from, you know, the mouse. Furthermore, Alice proceeded to eat and drink our wares without the least consideration for their purpose. Did she ponder, even for the merest moment, why we might need, eat me cakes to make us grow, or drink me potions to make us shrink? Jesus. Again, it's like an alien showing up. Like, I'm not going to make fun of them because they don't understand, you know, how the can opener works. No, she did not. She simply took one and guzzled that lot. Frickin' great. Anyway. No, speaking of injuries and, like, you know, gardening and things, I've been taking care of some, like, you know, household-related cleaning things that need to be done while my dad is currently recovering from getting like some surgery stuff done. And so I've been doing a little bit of mowing on, in his yard. And the first time that I attempted to mow was, it went okay, but I did have one incident where, like, he's got a fairly decently sized yard, so that means he's got, like, one of those, riding lawnmower things. An actual, like, drive motor. And I got into that thing, and I've driven those things before, so I was just like, oh yeah, I totally get this. But, hadn't done it in a while, and I didn't really remember, like, the rules of how you're supposed to kind of handle driving those things. For the most part, I did fine, but I did have one incident where I was driving and trying to mow around this one particular tree that he has in his yard. And this tree is like, it's kind of smaller and then also kind of sloped. And the tree branches are kind of draping off of like one side of the tree in like one direction. And they're kind of low to the ground, meaning that there's this big old patch that you can't really reach with that mower. Otherwise, like, you just run directly into those tree branches. Well, silly old me, I got a little bit too close. And I thought I would have enough clearance that I wouldn't end up hitting one of the branches. But I made the wrong call. And I drove underneath that sucker, and I ended up, like, running into a couple particularly strong branches that were pretty firm. And keep in mind, like, mower going burr this way, tree branch not moving at all, and isn't gonna move because it's a thick tree branch. Like, have you ever tried to, like, break a tree branch straight up? Even ones that are, like, fairly thin looking. Like, those things can be freaking, like, freaking, like, very, very hard lumber. But anyway, what ended up happening was that, the lawnmower ended up driving, like, underneath that tree. I did not, however. Or I did, but, like, I ended up sort of scraping against many of the branches along the way. And I'm okay, but there was a period of time where I was just like, am I going to have to go to the chiropractor? Because I'm just like, my spine didn't like any of that. So, that was my lawn tomfoolery.
Sounds hilarious.
Yeah.
Classic mistake.
Injuries.
It's like that, what is it, the 8 or 10 foot bridge?
Oh, yeah, right.
Into?
Except, yeah, much less damaging and deadly, though. The frickin' 8-foot bridge, yeah, I know that one. The ones that just keeps shearing off semis because, like, and the problem with that, like, the tragedy with the 8-foot bridge is that, like, it's nobody's fault, really. Like, the way that it was constructed a long time ago, before, like, things were standardized in our country. And it, a railway was built over that bridge. So unless you want to completely rebuild the railway, which it's currently a used railway, and a very major one at that, like, unless you want to fix that, you basically just kind of have to shrug and be like, can't really fix it. Too bad. Sorry.
There are signs that warn you.
Well, and here's the thing. Even though the signs warn you, like, there's no real way to easily correct and get out. Like, and also the roads in that location, all of them kind of point underneath that bridge. Like, you could in theory get yourself out, but, like, I don't know, the way that the roads move, like, it's kind of like, it's not impossible, but definitely it's against usual law to make any crazy movements to get out of that location. On top of that, if you're driving a semi, you're not going to be making any fancy moves to get out of that location anyway. So, for a lot of folks, either they've got trailers that they can't easily do maneuvers with, or it's a semi that's too big to be able to make that turn. So, you got no choice. It's forward or bust. Why are there paws and footprints on the wall and floors? I think you've forgotten this is Alice in Wonderland. This is a normal thing that is usual and exists usually in this place. I think I'd be more concerned if I saw, like, paw prints on the ceiling. Which I don't.
Hey, Wilds, be jealous, man.
I once was on a four-wheeler, and when I was turning, I fell, and the wheeler fell on my leg. Ouchies. Didn't break it, but it sprained. Well, I'm glad you escaped that to tell the tale. I'm gonna leave the paw print. What was the button to swap it around again? God, I've completely forgotten. Is it R? Yeah, it's R. God, brain didn't work for a second there. See, everything with this game is turned into muscle memory, and so now whenever I actually think about what controls they're supposed to be, I completely forget. So, oopsies. Yeah, what'd you say, chat? Did you say there's a clue? A clue? Where? Do not hit the paw print. It is sacred. There we go. Okay. Hello, I have arrived, says Nova. Howdy there. How you doing? Hope you're having a very good day. I'm having a fairly decent day because Waterboy is in his water element. Hooray!
Is your method of fast travel is shoving yourself into a power washer?
I think that'd be great. Problem is, I'm pretty sure that it vaporizes at least, like, 30% of me. I feel that would not be a very good idea.
Yeah, vaporization sounds bad. Gonna admit.
Oh, sorry to hear, Nova. I hope this stream is going to be silly enough that it helps. God, Lord knows I'm trying. I'm trying to make it as goofy as frickin'ly possible. There we go. Clean up. Get a water balloon and stuff Bit into it and yeet it across the room. I mean... So, Bit can move at the speed of thrown object. You could say that about a lot of people. And also, I am quite a bit of water, sir, or madam. Or however you go by. Oh, did I just see a weird, like, clipping? Wait, hold on a minute. I thought I just saw, like, in my peripheral Oh, it's the fog. Okay, I was wondering what the heck that was. I was just like, oh, did a texture just break? No, it wasn't well. Okay, well, the texture is a little broken. Yeah, still a little bit. He's fine. I'm trying to think of some more, like, injury-related things that I've had. I am very fortunate in that despite the fact that I am a goober and I have made several spills and all that jazz, I have not had too many serious injuries in my life. Again, shocked. Absolutely dumbfounded that that's the thing. Bit goober. Agreed. That is a correct statement. I think one of the scarier things that happened, it wasn't like any permanent injury, but it was definitely like, a freak out moment. Also, I just noticed that this table is supposed to be walking around and it's not. Arr. Weird. I think it'd be funny if, like, after I cleaned it, it suddenly got animated and started running around. I think that's the next move. That's what Power Wash Simulator needs to start focusing on. They need to start, like, adding weird stuff like that. Especially if it's going to be an Alice DLC. Come on, man. What is in here? Oh, it's a mushroom. I see. Neat. Can I draw you as the Yippee creature? Go for it. Also, people have already done that before, so yeah. Make it. I think several people have made the TBH creature. And here we see the actual fuel for this entire madness. Sorry, obvious joke is obvious. Got a funny injury story, says Al. When I was just a wee lad, I fell out of a high bed in my sleep. I didn't even wake up when I hit the floor. Oh my god. It probably hurt, but my grandparents heard. Turned out I broke my arm. Oh my god! God, you slept through that? Holy shit. You must have been on, like, I don't know, the good melatonin?
Into sleep stage be mad, yo.
Holy freaking crap. Yeah, I don't know what sleep stage, like, specifically just shuts off all of your motor skills and all your function, but wow. I certainly hope that, like, you know, when you were awoken, you were immediately, you know, brought out to hospital so that you could get that thing in a cast. I didn't feel it at first, but when they raised my arm, it hurt so bad. Oh, man. Ain't that how it is? It's weird that, like, you know, in the moment you won't feel an injury or anything like that. You know, me saying this, never broken a bone. It's interesting just, you know, you don't actually feel the injury, but then the moment that you actually do, like, move things or, like, adjust things, suddenly it hurts like a motherfucker. You know? Holy freaking crap. Is it Barnaby's Manor? Oh, no. For anybody who is just recently joining in, I am currently playing Power Wash Simulator. Specifically, I am playing the Alice in Wonderland DLC, or, you know, the Wonderland DLC, I should say. Not Alice in Wonderland, because that's Disney. No. Just the, just Wonderland. So, you know, rabbit hole. And then, whoa, crazy, woo. Spooky doors, melty, holy, what did you do in here? Yes, currently cleaning up. What was that?
There's a typing game that one of my buddies picked up recently. It's Crypt Master.
Oh. Interesting. Does that have to do with Alice?
No, but when you said spooky, it reminded me something that the Crypt Master said when he when my buddy typed in gore.
Oh, oogie boogie, oh.
Gore.
Look at the edgelord here. Ooh.
Gore? You know you're undead, correct? You do not need to be afraid of other spooky things.
This is true. You have become one with the spooks yourself. You're good.
I am the spook. It's fine.
It's like looking at, like, yeah, a ghost looking... Actually, wait. Can ghosts even see themselves in mirrors? I know vampires can't, but, like, can ghosts? Interesting. I wonder. Maybe. Unsure. Took an hour of watching cartoons, and then I went to the hospital. Okay, I don't know what era you were born in, but I'm assuming, like, I don't know. Maybe, like, Phineas and Ferb. Let's go with Phineas and Ferb. And he's just like, okay, Phineas is over. Let's go fix that issue. Holy shit, Alice in Wonderland! Oh. Well, you know, it'll remind you of Disney's Alice in Wonderland. But, you know. It'll remind you enough, I suppose. There we go. I don't know. Honestly, it doesn't have the Disney label on it, so it kind of makes me happy for that reason. Just like, oh, good, the mouse had nothing to do with this. Thank God. Almost broke my neck watching Big Hero 6. How the frick does that happen? Did you, like, jump off of a couch and then, like, land wrong? Oh, hello, there is a Nova in here. Hello.
Hello.
How's it going?
Did you know Alice in Wonderland is actually public domain? The original novel by Lewis Carroll, which is Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, and the sequel, Alice Through the Looking Glass, are public domain. So while the Disney version is the Disney version, anybody can do anything with the property, which is probably why a Power Wash Sim DLC exists for it.
Exactly. Well, so here's the funny thing. I mentioned this a little bit earlier in the stream, but when I was picking up the DLC, I went and took a look at, like, the publisher, and it's Square Enix.
Yeah, that's why we have the Tomb Raider and Final Fantasy VII DLCs for free, because those are published by Square Enix.
Right. But what?
It is very random.
Right, it's just like, why Alice in Wonderland of all things? It's very strange. Like, I guess that must have took some really weird business meeting.
I mean, it's public domain. They don't have to get any licensing
Yeah.
rights for it.
I'm not saying they have to. I'm just saying, like, it's weird. I suppose, like, I know that I was talking with some buddies recently, and I was asking if that made any sense, and they're like, I mean, Square Enix did make Kingdom Hearts, and if it had anything to do with Disney's Alice, it would make a very slight amount of sense for them to be publishing, like, an Alice in Wonderland thing. But the thing is, it has nothing to do with Disney, so, like, what? No,
I think maybe it comes down to it's public domain, and it makes for some interesting maps, so...
I guess. I mean, yeah, to be fair, I have not played in a map where the hallway basically, you know, literally did this. You know, this crazy nightmare. So, you know,
Cool,
I'll
I'm
take
definitely
it.
gonna have to get this DLC.
It's pretty fun so far. For a second,
That hallway reminds me a lot of Psychonauts.
Yeah, same. All twisty turny.
Like, this looks right out of Psychonauts.
It reminds me of that, and also the that twisty hallway from Ocarina of Time.
Ooh, yeah.
Remember that one? You know, in the beginning... Oh, no. Okay. Nova says, okay, so you know in the beginning of Big Hero 6, there's a scene where two characters crack their necks. I wanted to do the same thing, and that's how Baby Me almost broke my neck. Oh.
You were like, Nova says, like, wait, what? And I'm like, what did I say? And then I just realized there is someone in your chat named Nova Star Art.
Yeah.
Friggin' imposter.
I think we've discussed this before in the Discord.
There's an imposter among us. Nova Star Art, I'm gonna throw you out in airlock.
Dun, 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 dun! Well, unfortunately, the names Nova and Star make a lot of sense to be together, considering they both involve space. So, you know, it's kind of... It's an inevitability, I feel.
Yeah, my name is not extremely original. So it was originally Nova Illustris, with Illustris being Latin for starlight.
Okay.
But that was, like, really difficult for people to remember and spell, because it was Latin. So I'm like, I'm gonna just simplify it, and I will make it Nova Starlight, and I will make it, you know, what it is in English, which is Nova Starlight, but I decided to spell it with a Y to try and be different and quirky.
That's a good Man, this just
Oh, no.
reminds me of an old story I remember. There's a YouTuber, I think for the sake of like not bringing up old beefs or old problems from like way, way, way back in the day, I'm not going to mention like which YouTuber it is. Some people might know who it is, just from like maybe they were there at the time. But I remember there was this one YouTuber slash also they frequented Newgrounds a heck of a lot, and they were incredibly talented, and I still watch them to this day. And if you can believe it, I've actually shared some of their content recently. There's a little bit of a hint for people that are a part of Discord nonsense. But I remember they went by a different name online for the longest time, and you know, I followed their stuff. However, then one day they came out and made an announcement that they needed to change their name, or like that, you know, this was the end of their name as that online thing. And the reason is because apparently there's another person who I guess they operate underneath a very similar industry as they are. And they had apparently like trademarked the name for themselves, and I guess they were going around to other people online, you know, I guess very specifically this guy, and telling them that, hey, I have the trademark for this name, and you are now infringing upon it, so you need to stop doing that. And no shade on this person, by the way. I don't want to make it sound like I'm making fun of them. Okay, well, not massively making fun of them, I'll say. But you know, it leans into a very good point. That point being, I'm not, again, will not say exactly what the name was, but I will say this name was incredibly goddamn generic. And I'm willing to bet if somebody actually contested this, like if somebody actually went to the trademark offices and went, excuse me, sir, madam, or everything in between, this is bullshit. I'm willing to bet the trademark would have been revoked. Like, I am deadly certain it would have. Just because it was so generic,
annoying,
and
like...
everybody is using something similar to that. So it's just like, come on, man. Are you really going to be like, no, this is my name, and I do not want anyone else to have it. Bah humbug.
It's like when that one channel, YouTube channel, tried to like copyright or trademark React.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah.
You mean React?
Yeah.
You mean the Fine Brothers? I didn't forget your name, even though you completely rebranded and got rid of the Fine Brothers as your name. I know who you are. Frickin' scumbags. Monopoly, yay. But anyway, but no, that story it continues on. So they, you know, they can't. So this guy came out and basically made the announcement that like, yep, looks like it's over. They have sent me a letter to let me know that very soon, if I do not change my name within a certain time period, they are going to be taking legal action, and they will be having all of my accounts online taken down. So I guess there's nothing else to it. I'm going to have to start doing that, which is going to be kind of a very long process, and they have given me a time limit for how long I can do it, so I will definitely be doing it within that time limit. So as for what my name is actually going to be, I will be making that announcement at some point within the near future. And then, I think like a week before the actual, like, you know, before the actual supposed deadline was supposed to be, his YouTube channel ended up getting, like, flagged and destroyed.
Oh.
And like, again, full week beforehand. So I'm making the assumption that this guy, you know, this trademark trolling bullshitter, you know, I hate to say it any other way, but I'm pretty sure this guy found out, like, oh yeah, like, YouTube claims are a thing. Hey, I could do that. Let me go do that. So I don't even think this guy was up and with it or hip with any, like, new technology or new way to file complaints. I think he only just found out about that and went, you know, yeah, screw it. Goodbye. freaking jerkwad.
People
And again,
do that.
that sucks because like the person that was the dude that I've been following so many years, it's not like he said point blank like, yeah, this is bullshit, I'm not doing it. He's like, I'm gonna keep the name, screw this guy. I don't care what he says. No, he said just like, well, I guess the
Even
yeah.
like a bullshit thing to request, he still complied with it. So
Yeah,
that's
he
just
complied. Like, and that is
Wow.
such garbage. But anyway, he basically made
Total
the announcement that he
BS.
was going to be changing over to a new name. He gave the announcement of what the name was going to be, and then he like. But then here's the scary thing, though. He made that announcement, and then he just straight up disappeared for like a long period of time. Hello, we have a maple in here. Did you want to say anything else? Noted. Anyway, I'm going on one of my long drawn-out rants again, like I usually do. So just a heads
Hey,
up on that one.
sucks. That happened to that person. Jeez.
Right. But this story does have a good ending, however. Because, well, first of all, his entire archive of all of the music... Okay, he was a musician. Sorry. There we go. There's one more hint. The entire archive of all the music that he originally made was still available, and you could still pick it up. And that has been archived, which it kind of sucks that the video content related to it was not, because that one dude pulled the trigger like way too freaking quickly. But at least the music can continue to exist. But the other positive is that this guy didn't stay gone. He actually did come back after a very long time of kind of soul searching and thinking about what he wanted to do with his career. And he eventually made the decision that, like, you know what? Yeah, I do want to come back. And one of the big reasons why he did that soul searching was specifically because of the jerkwad that decided to go and trademark the ever-loving hell out of him and, like, destroy his existence. But yeah, like, eventually he decided, nope, I will not be dissuaded. And he came back, and he still makes music to this day, as well as he is, like freaking 500,000 times bigger than he was underneath his new name. And also, I've heard him on like official video game soundtracks and even soundtracks for like games where he has made covers for like,
Cool.
and I'm just like, I'm proud of you. I'm so proud.
Awesome.
That makes me so happy. That other guy can get bent. But anyways,
People getting targeted for just like no reason at all. Basically, there's just some person randomly who's out to get them. Like there was this animator I heard about not all that long ago that just got like attacked for like literally no reason.
ew.
They had like this one like viral, I guess, animation that was like really popular. I don't know if you call it viral animation, but it was like it was getting shared a lot of him like talking about him like doing a little song about all his like fictional crushes.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Or he's like singing a little song about all like his like video game and cartoon like girl crushes. It's very cute. It's he's very wholesome about it. So
that's Joe Cat.
Yeah. And
yeah, I know Joe Cat.
He got run off the internet for a while for no reason. Like a bunch of people just like hated his animations and like hated him and thought he was
I was there for the whole thing, and yeah, that was a tragedy. That was awful. I think I'm gonna try and say the context the best I can based on what I remember, but yeah, like Joe Cat has done a hell of a lot of things on the internet involving. He's made like a crap guide to D&D. And many other like really cool animations, wholesome animations, He's done stuff with live streaming. In general, he just seems like an absolute cinnamon roll of a person. And he just seems pretty cool, like standard.
Yeah, exactly. Like, wasn't that familiar with him, but I'd seen, like, some of his stuff around. Oh, like, this guy seems cool.
Mm-hmm.
And his animations are, like, really wholesome and cute and funny.
Well, I got, like, a lot of friends who are within the D&D sphere, so, like, they knew him. Like, you know, he was very well known for Crap Guide to D&D. And, but yeah, he made that one song parody, and it was, like, a parody of, like, Boys by Lizzo, except it was, like, you know, I like girls. And then he made an entire song, and the entire point of it was, I'm going to make a song about, like, all the different types of, like, you know, girls that are out there. And basically the exact same song as what Lizzo did, except with, you know, all of the body types of, like, girls. And just being like, I'm going to be inclusive. And that was basically the entire, like, and then he, like, for visuals, he showed off a whole bunch of, like, examples of video game characters and online personalities that have these different body types. So it was, like, a super inclusive video, and it was also, like, honestly, wholesome. As one of, like, the nicest ways that you could possibly put it out. And I think the reason why he had the blowback that he did was because this is going to go into some, like, really sensitive subject here, so, you know, be very cautious about how we speak.
I just realized your model's back.
Yeah,
I
hi.
will not judge you if you leave the stream.
Welcome back, Miss Maple. I am back. And
That means
I'm
I can do
front.
this.
I'm waiting. Ow! How dare you? How dare you have so many channel points? Okay. You frickin' I mean, that one was soft. I'll take that one. Bit Chaos starting? No! Bit Chaos is not starting. Please, no. I need to make these more expensive. Anyway. Right. Yeah, so this is going to be getting into kind of like really heavy sort of subject matter. I don't really know how I'm supposed to, like, you know, give warning on this one, but basically it's a lot of toxicity and a lot of frustration. So, you know, I think the main reason why a lot of people were sharing that around was, for starters, I know there's a lot of people within a lot of friend groups of mine that have made the claim that, you know, cringe culture is dead. That is only true in the sense of cringe culture is dead within our circles of the internet. Unfortunately, cringe culture is absolutely still alive and well, and people tend to still gawk and make fun of things that they don't appreciate or they don't approve of,
with
or
people who are
that
assholes.
or people that are, like, really uncomfortable with somebody else showing vulnerability. It's just something that, like, people still do. And in this case, I think that is very much what happened when it came to Joe Cat. People saw the video, they basically went, oh, ew, this person showing, like, appreciation for, like, the female form without, like, you know, making it misogynistic or saying it in a way that, you know, makes him seem manly. Ew, what the hell is this?
The women? Ew, cringe.
Right, it's like oh, men love women, what the fuck? And like I said,
Being respectful
like,
to women
video,
is so cringe, man. Like, who the hell?
The video wasn't even that offensive either. The video was just like, I respect women. That was literally the entire video. But again, they're around these circles, people just sort of, like, circulated around, and they did a couple of things. Number one, of course, they just made fun of him directly within the circles, and just basically the mask was entirely off within these circles. They're basically just like, what an asshole. They would say a whole lot of really offensive and derogatory things at him, at like anybody who was associated with him, at his wife. He married. He actually has somebody that loves him. Excuse
like
me.
these losers, probably.
Yeah, people went and just like attacked him on those fronts. Also, there were quite a few people that were like just dropping straight up rumors about him. Again, being the whole, oh no, this is the kind of person. Ow, thank you. This is the kind of person who would like, he'd be one of those scumbaggy, creepy dudes on the internet who turns out gets exposed like, like 2 years down the line. It's being like, with what evidence? With what exactly do you make that sort of a claim with? As well as also, there are a lot of people that just made those claims in general. Just being like, oh, turns out he's really, really creepy on his off time. It's like, no, okay, who the heck says that? Nobody? But then on top of that...
many people, it sucks because, like, because some people are so quick to believe that because, like, it's so common now for, like, any kind of person who's, like, an influencer or has any kind of, like, gets any kind of following online for them to turn out to just be, like, just
like,
have...
That is a thing that has happened, happens a lot, and will happen many more times in the future.
But you shouldn't just assume that it's automatically going to happen or it's likely going to.
Like, I understand operating under caution, but...
Yeah.
And I know that there's a lot of people out there that say where there's smoke, there's fire. And a lot of people say that, like, if the smoke is there, that's enough. Ow, thank you. Honestly, it's not. Like, I would love for that to be the case. I would love for there to be, like, a clear identifying sign. Oh, hello, Snap. How you doing?
Yeah, if there's smoke, look for the fire, but if there's...
Right, but if you can't find the fire...
somebody...
If you can't find the fire, do not loudly declare 5-degree fire. And that's what a lot of people do.
Exactly. Like, if your first instinct, if somebody is, like, you see an influencer, somebody, like, becoming popular, if your first instinct is to, like, try to dig up as much dirt on them as possible to try and see if there's anything about them that's quote-unquote problematic, it's like, you need to get a life.
I do believe I will hop off and play some Destiny with my partners.
Do it. Do it. Seek out your own destiny.
Ow.
Stop tempting me with that game.
Do it, it's good.
Oh no, I got so many other games to play.
Anyways, I'm gonna hop off. Have fun.
See ya.
Have a good night.
You too.
Yep. Oh, hello, there's a shoop in here.
Wow.
Hello. We have one person leaving and one person entering.
Oh, well, I guess before I do leave, I have one thing to say.
Yeah, I saw that coming. Ah!
It's wizard time, motherfucker! Fireball!
Jesus! Pie. Hello. I wish I could eat. And he's gone. Hey, what is Shell right about? Hold on a second. Oh, is Shell right about the whole Alice in Wonderland thing? Because the answer is yes. Yeah. Well, it's not Alice in Wonderland. It is Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. So it's not Disney. But, it's Alice. Oh, but public domain. The mouse had nothing to do with it. But yeah, it looks nice. I like the designs and I like what they did with this. So I lost my train of thought with what we were talking about earlier, but before we get into that, how's it going, Shoop?
Well, one, I know I haven't exactly been on here for some time. Mostly of work and little minion. But
light, little gremlin. Understandable.
Yeah.
Don't worry, because I've
neither
been
have
having
I.
internet
Life
problems
happens.
that have been forcing me to not do a lot of these live streams with people in them. So you're
Well, it might help out if you quit giving your router such of a workout by torrenting the Snatcher 4chan stories.
good.
You know,
What? Okay, what? That is an accusation, sir. What the heck you do?
you getting worked up is a worrisome sign there.
How dare you? Snab doesn't need to hear these things. Apologize to Snab.
So, horse.
So.
After I'll say sorry in natural language.
Ah. Yeah, he speaks that language. He just said your mother.
Yes, I know my mother was a whore.
And your father smelt of elderberry. One of my favorite YouTube channels from when I was young was accused of underpaying voice actors. Well, I think in general, voice actors are underpaid, like bog standard.
Mhm.
But, you know, that's another subject entirely.
Bayonetta's voice actress got, well, former voice actress got everyone to believe her when she,
Oh, that was
when
a
that
shit
happened
show.
because everyone just believed the voice actor could get screwed over that badly because they often do.
Mm-hmm. Hey, yeah, before I forget the whole, like, Joe Cat thing, though, I would like to say that, like, the current status of Joe Cat is that he is more or less he's dipping his toes back into social media slowly, and in general just trying to, like, see where he's currently comfortable. He hasn't really been making any posts or making any content for the most part. Well, okay, he's been, like, doing art, and that's about it. But, yeah, for a while there, he did step away from things pretty much because he didn't want to deal with the harassment that came with people that being online and people being judgmental online, which I don't think is fair.
Well, it was a mixture of there was harassing him, but then also harassing of his family, friends.
Right.
That was the main.
That was one of, like, the big things, and one of the big reasons why he didn't want to come back was, like, it wasn't really only him that was on the line. Like, his family was also in danger. Like, he ended up being doxxed simply because people were like, ha ha, let's dox the the funny girly man online. It's like, people suck. People suck a lot.
After they want to point that out, he also had it to where he did, let me see here, what was it? Crap Guide, Monster Hunter, and familiarizing the weapons.
I mean, he did Crap Guide to D&D, and he did Monster Hunter, but, like, was anybody upset about that?
No, he had it to where he actually pulled off a badass attitude with all that.
Neat.
Don't mess with the people.
Well, goody goody.
Yeah, and if it goes where he does start to come back into what he had done before, I will be in full support of trying to add more to my Gabo army.
Mm-hmm. Gabo.
Yeah.
Support the Gabo.
I missed the first one that he actually had, although we did a second run of it, so it was a second edition.
I know Makeshift has been doing quite a few runs of certain plushies that they have that were really successful. And you know what? Cool on them. What's funny is that I found out that one of the only major differences they're doing between the first plushies and the second plushies, well, sometimes they update them with, like, new features and things that the other ones didn't have. But if they can't do that, they just put a little second edition sticker at the bottom.
Yep.
So basically, it's a way for them to just be like, haha, you weren't on the front lines, you jerkbag. You came in after the second one. You're not an OG fan. And so, I don't know, I think that's a really good way of keeping the whole, like, you know, first-time exclusivity thing still alive while also simultaneously, like, you know, re-releasing product. Because, you know, you still are
Makes it
getting
different
something...
for the different runs.
Yeah, it makes it just a little teeny bit different. And I guess it's different for collectors because, you know, they'll look at the bottom and be like, oh, this wasn't the first edition. Hey. So you still get to keep your valuable plushie thing, or you still get to keep the smug satisfaction of saying, haha, I was here first.
But yeah, I got 3. Let's see here. Yeah, 3 of them. And I want to have gotten 2 each time. I got the glow-in-the-dark ones, the rogue gobos, and the bard gobos.
Ooh, neat.
Oh,
That
I
is
think there
quite
was
the
actually
trio.
one more I missed. I think there was
Also,
one that I missed.
that one guy is in the chat and has been here for a little while. Hello. By the way, did I just power wash paper? This doesn't seem right.
Damn, boy, that's thick. That's some thick-ass paper.
Thick-ass paper! I mean, I don't know. Again, Alice in Wonderland. Who the hell knows how this place works? There we go. Oh, man, that whole Bayonetta thing. My God. That was such a shit show. For the longest time, I was like, oh my God, if that's true, that's horrible. Then it turned out to not be true, and I'm like, oh, you lied. That's horrible.
Okay, so what exactly? I remember hearing some stuff about Bayonetta.
I'm not too up on that one.
So, Bayonetta's original voice actress, I don't remember her name. She who was in the first 2 games. She did not come back for the third. She did not come back for the 3rd game, and she was. I don't remember the reason why she didn't come back, but after they recast her with someone else for the 3rd game, because she didn't come back for the 3rd game, she got really mad about it. And she posted online that she was offered to come back for the 3rd game, but her pay was like what they offered her, like, to pay her to voice Bayonetta for the entire game was like disgustingly small. And everybody believed it because it's so common for voice actors to get screwed over that badly and to get paid that badly for things like that. Even though that was like what she was claiming was like ludicrous even by, you know, screwing over voice actor standards.
Right. I was there and I heard the numbers and I was just like, what the
Yeah.
Oh, freaking God.
And it came out that she was lying about that. She passed up on the 3rd game for some other reason. I don't remember what it was. But then she, like, regretted that decision and wanted to come back for the 3rd game. But by the time that she decided that, they had already gone and recast her, and they offered, like, well, and they said, well, we can offer you, like, a cameo role in the 3rd game, in playing some other character for a smaller amount of money.
The cameo role was the amount of money that they had offered. So
yeah,
she basically sort of like fudged the truth in a very disgusting way to make it sound way worse than it actually was. Like they weren't asking her to do the entire game. They asked her to come in for a cameo for a small amount of money. Even then, funny enough, it wasn't even that small of amount of money when you put it into context. Like, the amount of money that they were going to offer for that small cameo was amazing.
Yeah, that was, like, a pretty good amount of money for just a small cameo.
Pierce says she really messed up and is most likely blacklisted. Hell yeah, she is. If there's one thing that I have learned from being within the VA sphere and, like, you know, just doing some work behind the scenes, like, I don't have a lot of experience behind the scenes. But what I can tell you is that when the time comes to pass the torch, you do it respectfully. Like, and clearly, she decided she wanted to pass the torch. Like, she can't just, you know, Uno reverse card her way back in. That's not how that business works.
Yeah.
And she
Like,
especially
she already
can't
made the
get whiny
decision
about it
to-
afterwards.
Yeah,
No,
she
in
basically
that
made the decision to.
In
Yeah.
that circumstance, you see the success of the new person and you go, congratulations on the new role. Hats off to you. And then you move on to your next gig. Because if you don't do that, you end up having what happened to this individual right here, where now everyone is going to know her as the person who fudged her numbers and pretended like she was getting paid ridiculously low. Would you want to have that PR nightmare on your hands? I wouldn't.
Like, if. And let that be a lesson to you, and let that be a lesson to people, like, you can't go back on those decisions. Because she clearly didn't take that decision seriously enough. Because if she went back and regretted and was like, oh, I actually do want to take the role for the third game, like, it was too late for that. Like, she'd already made her decision.
Like, I don't know if maybe did she do it because she just had a lot other life obligations at the time, or what?
I'm not entirely sure why she passed it up, but it was her decision.
Yeah, I'm not
Because then
gonna
later-
discount the idea that maybe she had a reasonable reason for not taking the role, because she probably did.
Yeah.
But just because you suddenly have a change of heart doesn't necessarily mean that. I mean, also, who's to say that you could not come up with a way to maybe become the voice actor again? Like, did they sign a contract saying that you're Bayonetta for every single game afterwards? And if there's a Bayonetta 4, who knows? Maybe that could be a return to form, a return to glory.
Percent sure on this, but I think the reason she might not have taken the role for the third game is because she was like, oh, I want to do. She didn't feel like video. She felt like voicing in video games was beneath her.
Oh,
and she wanted to
never mind.
And she wanted to do theater instead.
If that was the reason, shut the hell up.
Yeah.
No excuses
It was-
then. Zero.
I remember her saying something about that, so if I'm mixing up some facts here, I apologize. But I think it was something around the lines of she thought that video game acting was beneath her, and she wanted to do theater, and that's why she didn't take the role. But then she later regretted it, and when she tried to pull that whole stunt to try and.
I see that Pierce is in here. Do you have a correction or anything to say?
I just want to point out there was another Bayonetta game after Bayonetta 3. It was Bayonetta Origins, that top-down kind of spin-off game where you play as young Bayonetta, and she is not in that game.
But
so she could have been in that game.
She could have, because that game is not Bayonetta 3, so if they wanted to recast, if they wanted to bring her back, the original one again, that would have been the time to do it, but they didn't. So I don't anticipate that happening anytime
wouldn't after
soon.
what happened with the third game, so.
Yeah.
Good job. Good
So
job.
I don't anticipate her coming back anytime soon, and I'm also not sure if they're even going to be doing any more Bayonetta games because Hideki Kamiya left Platinum.
Oh.
So,
Okay. Well,
Be the end for that then.
that sucks. Ooh, look at all the doors that need cleaning.
but Platinum, from what I've heard, they're still doing all right because the most recent game that they worked on was Final Fantasy 16.
There we go. Jesus.
Which, if you've played Final Fantasy 16, you know that it's not a Final Fantasy game. It's a Devil May Cry game made by the team that made Final Fantasy 14.
That's frickin' rad.
So it basically plays like Devil May Cry, and they got Platinum, and they also got the Kingdom Hearts team to help out with it.
Oh.
Yeah, I've heard mechanically it's not a Kingdom Hearts. It's not a Final Fantasy game.
They
Which is why a
hired
lot
the
of people
battle
don't like
director
it.
for Devil. They hired the main battle director from Devil May Cry 5 to work on it. So it plays like a Devil May Cry game, not a Final Fantasy game.
Let's see. Okay, one guy says, being a VA sounds so fun and so difficult at the same time. Yes.
Yes.
That is correct. It's fun, but then there's the bureaucracy, and then there's also the paperwork involved. Oh, and also, the NDAs where you literally can't say anything about anything.
Mm-hmm.
So, your entire life is just an enigma.
Yeah, I worked on this really, really awesome game. I can't wait to tell you guys about it. Oh, cool. When can we hear about it? About 5 years when it comes out.
Yeah.
But I can't even tell you when it comes out in 5 years because I can't say what it is.
And God help you if that game just doesn't come out and you're still under contractual obligation not to talk about it.
Yeah, that's always a chance that could happen
Because
too.
then you just have to like allow that
Thing
to
Alex
fester
Hirsch
and
has
sit in
worked
your
on
head.
since Gravity Falls.
Oh man.
God, I cannot tell you how many times Alex Hirsch has tweeted that he's working on something awesome and can't wait to tell everyone about it, and then he can never tell anyone about it because the projects keep getting canned or he keeps like leaving them, or it's been like 10 years now. It's been like 10 years now.
Man.
Ugh.
Like, I understand NDAs; they are an important part of the industry. But God,
I mean, you know, Alex Hirsch has been working on projects that have come out, right?
yeah,
Yeah, like
we've talked about
nothing
them
that
before.
none of the stuff he's ever been like where he's tweeted about, I'm so excited to talk about this, because then he never talks about it.
I have a handful of things that I am also incredibly excited about, but I have a tendency not to tweet or talk about them online for a couple of reasons. The major one being, major people within businesses and industries, they take note of whenever people do that. And thank you. Thank you, Listless. If you seem to be somebody that's a little bit more relaxed on like letting it slip that there is something secret that you are working on, a lot of people within the industry notice that and be like, uh-oh, maybe we shouldn't let this guy be a part of our project because they might leak something NDA related. Like, even if you said, like, I have something really fun that I'm working on that I can't talk about, it's still something that, like, rubs, companies the wrong way, because they're just like, well, you're still kind of, like, dropping a lot of hype for something that you probably shouldn't even be saying. Just like, dial it back. So you need to have a lot of self-control when it comes to that, and, for me, I'm not going to say exactly what kind of projects I'm currently working on or anything like that. They exist, I'll say that. And, there's a lot of stuff I would love to talk about, but I will not be talking about it. Or I'm not even going to, like... See, the problem, I think the main problem that a lot of companies don't like is that when you leave tweets like those, or when you leave messages like that, they tend to carbon date the exact moment that really cool things are happening within their industry. And that, in and of itself, could potentially, like, leak important information about whatever the hell is being worked on. I mean, think about it this way. Imagine if, like, a really famous person who was working on, I don't know, Smash Brothers games, or like, something Nintendo related. Imagine if they made some sort of a tweet talking about how excited they are about what they're working on. Now imagine if they, like, exclusively, specifically are known for that one property. People are going to take that and, like, steer it in the direction of, oh my god, they're working on the new Smash! Or something like that. Like if Sakurai came out of the woods and was just like, yep, I'm working on it.
Yeah.
It's not like he's not worked on other stuff, though.
Well,
Sakurai
no,
That
actually
would just
said
be
that he
based on
started-
speculation.
But most people will go into speculation and be like, that one, he's doing that thing. So,
Sakurai said that that's
Yeah, but it's
specifically
based
the
on
reason why he
speculation.
doesn't tweet about video games that he's played or that he has been playing, because everyone immediately thinks, oh, you're playing it to study for a new character in Smash, right? That means this game is going to be in Smash. It's totally going to happen, and then it doesn't happen, and then he's like, you lied to us. No, I didn't. I was just talking about a game I like.
Nope, smart guy. Smart dude.
Yeah, so he just doesn't talk about it at all, and he just does his YouTube channel, and he posts pictures of his cat.
Good on him. The one guy says, real long message here. Reminds me of my friend going to a Transformers convention and asked a VA at a panel if he could do the voice for a character from the latest Transformers movie that wasn't used in the movie. A bunch of the animal Autobot voices weren't used in the movie. This character not speaking at all in the final product, apparently. The VA jokingly responded with, if you're willing to pay $200,000 to Paramount.
That's
Yep.
great.
Yeah, release the statements. Release my NDA, please.
Actually, on the subject of movies that have a whole bunch of extra audio for them that no one's ever going to hear, has anyone here seen the Disney movie Aladdin?
Yes.
Which
Okay.
one you talking
Arabian Nights. Okay, actually,
The
yeah, which one?
original animated one. There is
Okay,
no
thank
other
you.
Aladdin movie. There is no War in Ba Sing
Right,
Se.
there is no other. No Aladdin
about?
movies.
There's
There
Aladdin
is no.
King of
2,
Thieves.
Aladdin
There is no
3.
second Lion King. There is no second Little Mermaid. Yeah, second Disney movies just never happened.
King of Thieves, because it was based on the TV show, and the TV show was cool.
Okay, fine. King of Thieves is all right, but
Right, no, that's
there's
fair.
nothing else.
Okay.
There's just the original Aladdin movie, King of Thieves, and Kingdom Hearts. That's it.
TV
But
show.
anyway, for the
Aladdin
original
TV show.
Aladdin movie, you know that they got a specific celebrity to voice the genie,
Yep.
and that was Robin Williams. And Robin Williams is known for his improv.
Yep.
And when they were doing the recording for Aladdin, they did have a script, but they basically just had multiple parts in the script where it just says Robin does something funny here.
Mm-hmm.
So that means that they did like a ton of different takes of Robin Williams just saying whatever the heck was on his mind and just doing his stand-up Robin Williams thing and just completely making new stuff up every single take that they did. So they have hours of recorded audio of Robin Williams doing absolutely hilarious stuff with the genie, and some of it is rated R, and Disney is never, ever, ever going to release it.
Yep.
Because there's a clause in Robin Williams' will that says that Disney cannot release it for at least another 40 years. And they
Oh
also can't
no!
use any-
We never.
and they also can't use
Even in
anything
40 years,
that
we're
he
probably never going to
recorded
see it.
in anything else until that time.
Well, I mean, okay, that makes
Damn.
sense. That good on them for putting down that like that goalpost, just being like, you do not pass this. Screw
Yes.
you. Okay, no, that's fair. That's good.
That being said,
But the
though,
one thing I'm worried about though is like, what the heck did he say in those R-rated genie clips that he's
well, I mean,
got
if you've
like?
seen any of his stand-up, you know that he kind of goes to R-rated material sometimes. So basically, that.
He does, but I'm like, is it that bad? Like, is the genie lines that bad that he's just like, not until 40 years? Like, what the?
No, I don't think it's that they're bad.
Yeah,
It's just
it's
that
just-
there's stuff that like it doesn't fit Disney's family-friendly image.
Well, I mean, why would Robin care about the family-friendly image? Is the thing.
Well, the
Are you
reason
sure
why
that-
Robin Williams is so particular about this is because are you aware of the feud that happened between Robin Williams and Jeffrey Katzenberg?
I don't know if I am actually.
Okay, this is going
I
to be
know
a
a
story.
feud
so
with him and
sit
Disney,
back and
but
relax.
was
This
it
is
like
going to be a fun
specifically
one.
with Jeffrey
Oh, no.
Katzenberg when he was at Disney?
Okay, this is going to be a fun one.
Yeah, grab
So-
popcorn.
Okay.
In the early 90s, there was a movie that was in development by some Australian studio called Fern Gully.
Oh,
Remember that
no.
movie? Robin Williams was in that too.
Oh
So
no!
Robin
Bad.
Williams, he heard about this movie. He knew that the movie had a very prominent "Go Green, save the trees, save the environment" message, and he thought that sounds like something that I want to be a part of. I'll do this, and so they signed him on to be the role of Batty. And he signed on to this movie first, by the way. Meanwhile, at the very same time, Disney was working on Aladdin, and they were writing the movie and creating the character of the genie with Robin Williams in mind. And if they did not get Robin Williams in this movie, they knew that the movie was basically dead, because the entire character was made for him. So they went over to him and they showed him basically one of the animators at Disney. His name is Eric Goldberg. He is an amazing animator. He took one of Robin Williams' old stand-ups and then he animated the genie doing the stand-up, and it was hilarious, and Robin was like, okay, I'll do this. This sounds great. But I do have one caveat, and that is I do not want you to use the genie in more than 25% of the marketing, so you can use 25% or less with the genie, and also do not merchandise this character and do not use my voice to sell toys. He told that to Disney.
Huh?
And so
Not
Disney, the president of
being
Disney Animation
Disney.
at the time, was a guy named Jeffrey Katzenberg, who is kind of a dick, to put it
Yeah.
politely.
Yeah.
And so Jeffrey Katzenberg said, "All right, Robin, sure, we won't advertise the genie in this movie, but in return, I want you to do something for me. I want you to not be in Fern Gully."
Wow.
And so Robin was like, "The fuck?
No.
Like, why?
Why?
it's just another movie. Why does it matter? And Disney was like, yeah, so we're doing an animated movie with a big shot celebrity. That would be you. And we don't want you to do that in any other movie first. So yeah, you're not going to be in that movie now. And so Robin was like, yes, I am. I signed on with them. I'm going to rap the baddie rap, and you can't stop me. And so Disney said, okay, screw you right back. We're going to market the crap out of the genie. And they did.
I just love the idea of just being like, I want to be Batty and I want to rap.
Yeah.
You can't stop me.
So he did that, and he still did the genie because at that point he had signed a contract and he had to do it, and he did an amazing job. And he also did Batty, and at basically every single step of the way when they were trying to make Ferngully, like every time that the Ferngully team would reserve a booth for a recording studio, Disney would come in and then buy the booth. And basically just do a whole bunch of really underhanded, shady crap to try and just sabotage Ferngully from happening because they really didn't want any
It's
competition.
really shitty, but really funny. I'm
that's
sorry.
garbage.
Yes, so anyway, both movies came out. Aladdin obviously made a ton more money. Ferngully still did all right. And Robin was very much not happy about all of the merchandising and marketing that Disney had done with the Genie character. He did not like that they were using his voice to sell toys.
Mm-hmm.
So Robin, because, you know, he does stand up, he does a lot of public speaking, he basically started to badmouth Disney pretty much at any opportunity that he could.
Okay.
And Jeffrey Katzenberg, knowing how influential Robin was, tried to patch things up by buying him a Picasso painting. It did not work.
How does that do anything?
It doesn't.
Just
That
give him
doesn't
more
help.
price trophy.
It doesn't help, but it wasn't until
Rich people
Jeffrey
think they can fix
Katzenberg had
their
already
problems.
been basically fired from Disney, and then a new person came in and then put out a full-on public apology and said, hey, yeah, we promised this thing to Robin and we kind of messed up and we apologize for that.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't until they actually went out and said sorry that Robin said, okay, fine, I'll be able to voice the genie again. I'll voice him in Aladdin 3 for you. And then he was in Aladdin King of Thieves, and he did a really, really good job. And he also voiced Genie in a few other things here and there, mainly some like educational stuff, like for some Disney like education channels where they have Genie talk about like, hey, here's a whole bunch of famous people from history, and it was a thing that teachers could show in their class. He was fine with that. And that was basically the last time that he really voiced the Genie, because obviously he is expensive. And in in Aladdin 2, which came out at the time that Robin basically said Disney can go F themselves, they still needed to have someone to fill in the role of Genie, and they didn't want to get Robin again. Like, they couldn't. So instead they hired Dan Castellaneta, who you probably know is the voice of Homer Simpson.
Oh, yeah.
And
TV series.
Yeah.
Also.
yeah. And Dan Castellaneta was also the voice of Genie in every Kingdom Hearts game, and basically he's the backup whenever Robin is unavailable, and because Robin is now permanently unavailable, he's just the voice of Genie now. That being said, there is one exception. In 2023, Disney did a... Yes, Pink and White Bat, that was exactly what I was going to get to. Disney did a 100th anniversary short where they included characters from every animated Disney movie that they've ever made in one animated short. And that means that the Genie shows up in it. And they specifically got permission from Robin Williams' family to use one of the voice recordings that he did for Aladdin that wasn't in the movie. They could use that one clip for this one short. One time.
Okay.
So they did. So technically, Robin Williams voiced him there.
Well, there we go.
And that's the last time that he officially voiced the Genie.
Wow.
Short is really awesome. It's called Once Upon a Studio, if you haven't seen it.
Yes, it's a very
highly recommend going to
sweet,
watch
touching
it.
short. It's on YouTube. Disney posted it officially.
Yeah.
I haven't
It's
seen
on
it.
YouTube,
but,
and it's better than Wish, which is the hour-and-a-half movie they made for their 100th anniversary.
It is a lot better than Wish.
It is so much better.
What a legacy.
It is so much better.
Yes. Anyway, sorry, that's the Robin Williams Genie Aladdin story.
I love that. That was great. Thank you. I've always
Wow.
wondered. I never knew like the nitty-gritty details of that, and now I know. So thank you.
Yes.
Hey, Bet,
and,
we're gonna need...
if you're wondering what happened to Jeffrey Katzenberg, he
DreamWorks
had a
happened to
falling
him.
out. Yeah,
Yeah,
he
why do
had
I
a
care?
falling out with the head of the Walt Disney Company at the time, a guy named Michael Eisner. He
Also an
decided to
asshole.
leave and say, I'm going to build my own Walt Disney Company, and it's going to be a lot better, and it's going to be like cool and awesome. And so he went
Yeah.
over to his friend Steven Spielberg and said, "I'm making an animation company, and you can't stop me."
Yeah.
And so then they decided to found DreamWorks Animation.
How DreamWorks
Wow.
came to be is
That-
Jeffrey Katzenberg was fired from Disney, and he said, "Fine, I'll make my own Disney with blackjack and hookers," and he made DreamWorks.
Yep, and you can totally tell that because the first DreamWorks movie was a movie called Ants with a Z. And the reason
Ants
why
with
they
a
made that
Z.
movie was because Jeffrey Katzenberg was at Disney before he left, and he saw that there was this other company that used to be some sort of subsidiary of Apple doing like special effects work, and they were working on a CG movie about like bugs.
Yeah.
So he
It's
was
really
like, okay.
obscure.
The Lives of Bugs.
So those weirdos are doing their CG bug movie. I'm gonna make my own CG bug movie, and it's going to be like it's going to have celebrities in it, and it's going to come out first.
I'm assuming it
And so-
didn't come out first.
No, it did
Or-
actually.
Or it
He
came out
rushed
first
the
and it
crap
sucked.
out of them, and it did come out and it did, and it had Aunt Sylvester Stallone in it. How could that lose?
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah, it wasn't
Yeah,
great.
no, there
Who
was
would
clearly
think
a winner in
Ants
that
is-
one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but hey, at least they followed it up with the Prince of Egypt, which is pretty good.
There we go.
Okay, people who say it's better than A Bug's Life are like,
Oh, and
Looks
then
like
we
it's
got
better
the
than
Road
you
to
think.
El Dorado. Yeah,
We
I
did
remember
get
seeing
the
that
Road
one.
to El Dorado.
I do. I
And-
like Road to El Dorado. It's not a perfect. I understand why people are like, "Oh, the Road to El Dorado is not that great." I understand why you think that, but I still like it.
Okay,
You
the
know,
story
I've
behind
seen
Road
the
to El
Oro-
Dorado is
I
actually
remember seeing-
fascinating.
I remember seeing
Yeah,
the Road
that's
to El
it.
Dorado. I remember
It
seeing
was
the Road
supposed to
to El
have
Dorado.
like a bunch of sequels.
Okay, so the thing with the Road to El Dorado is that if you follow like 2000s animation movies, you'll notice that this is a movie about two very, very funny guys who might not entirely get along, but they're basically just two fun rando people who get up and do a bunch of hijinks in a sort of Mayan Aztec-y looking environment setting. And you might also notice that Disney was making another movie that seems kind of similar to that at the time.
First New Groove, or as it was probably called at the time, Kingdom of the Sun.
Yes, they were absolutely copying the
Ah.
homework of the Kingdom of the Sun. And if you know anything about the development of the Emperor's New Groove, you know that it was an absolute shit show.
Yep. I've heard
So
that
much
one.
so
But
that
it was
there's
like,
So much so that there's an
The Emperor's
entire
New Groove is
documentary
such-
about the development hell that the Emperor's New Groove went through. I highly
Called-
recommend it. It is called
it's
The
called
Sweat
the
Box.
Sweat Box.
And it's the
Yep.
greatest documentary about any animated thing that you'll ever see.
See, I have not.
And
I
Disney
haven't
hates
seen
it
but
and
I've
doesn't
heard
want
like.
anyone seeing it ever. So good luck finding it, because everywhere it ever gets posted anywhere, it's Disney. Disney watchdogs will be there to destroy it.
It's,
It's on
the
the
internet.
Internet
So-
Archive.
So-
It's on the
somebody-
Internet Archive. You can find it easy. Go watch it. Because the thing
Ooh,
with most
yes.
documentaries is that they're
did
usually
not know
made
that.
after the fact. So if you go over and you interview somebody about a movie that they've made and the movie's already come out and everyone knows how the story ends, then usually they'd say something along the lines of, "Yeah, it was really, really hard at the moment. In the time, we worked a lot of really hard, sleepless nights. But the movie came out and we all learned from it and we moved on." That's not how this documentary was made. This documentary was made at the same time as the film itself. So when they go over and interview people and are like, "So how's this part of the movie shaking up?" Those people have no idea how the story ends, and it is the most raw, honest thing you'll ever see from them.
That is insane. One guy
Yeah.
saying,
I didn't know it was on Internet Archive. I thought it was just like super hard to find because Disney kept, deleting it whenever it would pop up anywhere.
You know,
It's on the Internet
surprisingly-
Archive, and it's also on Dailymotion. You can find it.
It's
I
surprisingly.
need to watch it again.
I've found more often than not, the Internet Archive tends to be the place that I go to whenever I am trying to find something and desperately cannot find it due to like copyright related issues. Mostly because the Internet Archive people are like much more litigious when it comes to like, copyright complaints and things like that. It's not that they won't take stuff down. It's that, like, if there is a sensible reason for something to be there, usually they don't care.
Yes.
And so I found plenty of things over there that I'm just like, okay, that's interesting. Is that even legal to be there? And I'm not talking not full on pirated movies or anything. You're not going to find that there. It's more like, the like I said, behind the scenes types of things that you would normally wouldn't find. Plenty of old software and firmware that just doesn't exist on websites anymore. Good on them. As well as magazines, huge. There are so many magazines over there. My God. I'm trying to remember.
But yeah, the people who made Road to El Dorado, they were absolutely like someone at corporate was looking over Emperor's New Groove's shoulder and trying to figure out how to beat them at the box office. And because that movie wasn't sure what it was supposed to be, Road to El Dorado also wasn't sure what it was supposed to be. And both movies ended up kind of running into a lot of trouble. And one of the people who worked on the Road to El Dorado, he said, if they made a movie about the making of this movie, it would be a cross between Mutiny on the Bounty and The Producers.
Ooh. Oh, no.
Yeah.
Jesus. What is it about, people trying to make movies on the Mayan civilization and people, failing just like the Mayans?
Well, the original idea was that it was
Coco.
supposed to be directed by the guy who made The Lion King, and it was supposed to actually be like a serious grand epic in the same style as that movie.
Yeah, that didn't.
But they kept running
Emperor's New Groove was gonna be Prince and Prince and the Pauper in fantasy Mayan Aztec kingdom, and a big epic animated musical like they did with Lion King, and Emperor's New Groove basically is a parody of that concept.
Yeah, because the movie kept running into so many story issues, and they tried multiple rewrites to keep the original idea going, and it just wasn't working. And so eventually they brought in a different director, and they said, look, we have basically no time to finish this movie. So aside from the basic story structure of Prince who becomes llama and learns lesson, basically everything else is being thrown out the window. This is now a buddy comedy. Let's go.
Oh, okay,
Let's
so
just finish it.
Nova even says in the chat, what is the Emperor's New Groove? Basically what Pierce just said. What it ended up becoming was a silly buddy comedy involving a guy and a llama attempting to try and, what was it? Again, trying to unbecome a llama?
Yeah, he gets turned into a llama, and then
prince, and
he's a spoiled prince. He becomes a llama, and then he needs to work with a peasant to get back to his castle and unllama himself.
Right. And again, it was supposed to be
it's
a lot more
parody
serious.
of what the concept was originally supposed to be.
Yeah. Honestly,
but
probably better for it.
I know, it's a hilarious movie. For what the fact
the
Emperor's New Groove turned out as funny and quotable and as interesting of a movie as it did, for what insanity led up to it, that's kind of a miracle.
Considering
the Emperor's New Groove that we got is so freaking good. It's like a 10 out of 10 movie. It's so hilarious.
Yeah, how did this happen?
It's amazing.
I remember watching that movie, and if you were to tell me, oh yeah, the development in this movie was absolute shitfest, I would have been like, really? You're sure? We're talking about the same movie, right? And what was it? Actually, funny enough, I forget. There was a sequel that they made, right? I think Kronk's New School or whatever the heck.
There was a TV show called The Emperor's New School, which was on Disney Channel, and then there was another movie called Kronk's New Groove. The movie's not good. Do not watch it.
Yeah, right. I remember. There was a Kronk movie. I just didn't know what it was called.
It was a direct-to-DVD sequel. It was bad.
Oh, ouch. That's a shame.
There is one other silver lining, though. If you bought the soundtrack for The Emperor's New Groove, there was one part of the original movie that they were able to include, because the villain song that was written for the original serious version of the movie was fully finished and fully recorded, and it's on the soundtrack.
Weird.
Ha!
And it's sang.
Yzma was going to have a villain song, but
the song is called "Snuff Out the Light." It's an absolute
really good.
banger. It's very, very great.
It's great, yeah.
What an oddity. Also,
because if you know anything about Eartha Kitt, who voiced Yzma in that movie, she is a singer. She also played Catwoman in the 1960s Batman.
Ooh.
She is very, very good.
Nova in the chat says, Kronk? Yeah, Kronk. Pull the lever, Kronk! That's where that meme comes from.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen it, but... Yeah.
I think most people who are like, oh gosh, it's just so weird to think about, because people who are probably 20 or younger know that and probably saw those memes first before they saw the actual movie.
Oh, I was thinking about
the
that
actual
the other
movie
day.
Still holds up so well.
I was thinking about this the other day, There are
It's
some
incredibly
movies,
funny.
There are some movies that are held up as like ridiculous classics. I'm trying to remember. There's a couple of Disney ones specifically. I think it might have been Hercules. I remember I was literally
Like
alive.
Hercules. It's a hot mess, but I love it.
Yeah.
You mean Hercules? Okay.
Hercules,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, no, I was thinking like, oh my god, I remember seeing ads for Hercules. I'm that
Me
old.
too. I'm that old too.
I'm just like,
We're
God!
a little bit.
I remember getting a McDonald's Happy Meal toy themed around Atlantis and Treasure Planet.
oh
Same.
no.
Oh, from Atlantis, Kita has that crystal necklace thing.
Yeah, I still have it.
That was a
I still
toy
have
at
it.
McDonald's, and I still have
the
it.
McDonald's toy.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
You know,
That was
I
a good
regret
movie.
I regret treating McDonald's toys the way that I did when I was younger, because I would love to still have them nowadays, even just as a talking piece, or as something you put on eBay. Because those things can range like high amounts depending on what you have.
Yeah.
I do. Oh, the one and only thing. Okay, I've got a couple. So I went and I bought the Burger King games, but those are a dime a dozen. What are we talking about? The one other thing that I remember I still have from when I got like, Happy Meals and stuff like that was I picked up all of the CDs for the Yu-Gi-Oh! Cross promotion. I still have all of those CDs and I have them in a compilation along with the music album that they were using like those CDs to promote. Like it was a big fat promotion sandwich where it was basically like, hey, do you like Yu-Gi-Oh? Here's Yu-Gi-Oh stuff. Like here's stuff about the show, stuff about the characters, here's snippets of some music stuff. Here's an ad for the album, that kind of thing. And I mean, it worked. I went and I bought the album, so obviously. And also, I watched the show, so yeah, it did work. But yeah, I still have that compilation sitting around. No idea if those CDs work. I don't know. Our computer's too
Been
old
used
for
in
that.
a long time. There's a good chance they probably still do, honestly, because
I mean, I just
CDs
don't know if our current computers capable of even running those.
I mean, if you
Yes.
actually have a computer with a disk drive, yes.
I have a disk drive I can plug in via like USB.
If you run it in Windows compatibility mode, yes.
Oh, I just I realized something.
And you
just
know
now.
what? Oh, I was gonna say about Road to El Dorado, and you're saying they were peeking over at Kingdom of the Sun. It's funny because I think that movie did actually find an identity, or at least a thing it was trying to be, and that was the Bing Crosby, Bob Hope Road to movies, but
yes,
animated.
it was absolutely based on those Road 2 movies. It was they really wanted to make more of them, and it sucks the movie didn't do as well as it should have because we could have had an entire franchise of them by now, and I totally would have loved to see those.
That one
Right,
guy,
like
you just said speaking of stuff you could get at restaurants, Burger King Sneak King for the Xbox, my beloved.
Yes.
Were you here for that stream that I did literally like a couple of weeks ago? I think you need to go over to the YouTube channel where I have stream archives and go watch that. I'm pretty
Yes.
sure it's uploaded there. That was a shit show. I knew it was bad, but I remember it. You played Sneak King? Yep. I remember that game being like bad, but I also remember it being bad in a, haha, this is funny kind of bad. And then I recently replayed it and I'm like, oh no, this is just bad. Full stop. Complete. Total. Like, oh, it's the exact same mission several times over, except sometimes you have a time limit, or sometimes you can't be caught, or sometimes you have to, like, see certain clientele. I love Sneak King and Pepsi Man. I have not played Pepsi Man, but I'm pretty sure that's also. Fast food promotions are fun things to look back at. From a nostalgia standpoint, I agree.
Wait, Bit, you've played Sonic Adventure 2?
No. I have
Because,
not.
haven't you played Sonic Adventure 2?
I have not played Sonic Adventure 2.
Oh, You should, because in Pepsi Man, there's a bit where you get on a snowboard and you snowboard down the streets of San Francisco, and that's Sonic Adventure 2. So if you played one, you played the other.
Okay, yeah, no, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Rolling
Play Sonic
around
Adventure
at the speed of Pepsi.
Rolling around at the speed of Pepsi Man.
Dum dum dun 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 dun.
Video game nerd covered the Pepsi Man game, and I don't know if it was so much bad as it was annoyingly difficult.
I mean, yeah, I've seen Pepsi Man videos.
Maybe it can be
and
one and the same.
it's a combination of both of them. Like, it's fairly easy and fairly simple at the beginning. It's more just like goofy. Oh God, jump over these things. Oh wow, quirky. But then, like, at the latter levels, the difficulty curve just absolutely spikes. And by later levels, I mean, like, level 3. Basically, like, the first level is the only one that seems to be, like, palatable. And then the rest of them, it's just like, don't even bother. You just spent how much money for a Pepsi Man
Man or
CD?
Sonic?
What now?
Are you talking about Pepsi Man or Sonic?
What's
The first
Yes.
level's good, but then after the third level, stop.
Yes.
Okay.
Let's just go with yes.
Okay.
Here, I'm gonna transition over to... Oh, good lord, my arm. What are you doing back there? Anyway, Pepsi Man commercials are fun, though. Oh, absolutely. Highest possible quality compilation on the
thing
internet.
in this country, they were Japanese only, wasn't it? The Japanese only thing.
Yeah,
It was.
yeah. Pepsi Man was
Yeah.
exclusively in Japan, which I think they should fix. Okay, bring him back and
Agreed.
allow him in the States. I am certain that Pepsi Man would do well here.
He absolutely would, especially because of all the meme potential that's been growing over the years. People will recognize him, and people will
I
think
think
it's hilarious.
companies have unfortunately learned is that memes are profitable.
Yes, and that is one of the biggest memes out there right now. Pepsi Man. Do it. Who
Yeah,
cares if
they
you're going to
bring-
confuse
if
a
they
lot
bring
of old
Pepsi Man
people?
over here, people will think it's hilarious. It'll really work.
Right. Like, who cares if you're going to confuse a lot of old people? That's not the market you're advertising to right now.
Yes.
It's fine. If
At
anything,
this point, like if KFC can make an anime dating sim where you date Bishonen Colonel Sanders, anything's possible.
to
at
be
this point.
fair, that didn't make national news, and I don't think they advertised that. That was more like word of mouth. They were like,
they had Game Grumps play it.
well, yeah, but I mean, Game Grumps is more of like, you have to
Maybe.
go and search for the Game Grumps in order for you to. It's not like they're not taking the dating simulator and putting it on a billboard. You know what I mean?
They should have.
That would have been funny.
The fact they didn't means they're
but-
cowards.
Right. Do it, you fool. You won't.
God, that reminds me. There's actually Pepsi Man has taken on a new meaning for me because you can't see it on the. I have a different PFP on the stream, but on Discord, I have a PFP of a character from a game who is the henchman of a guy, and the guy that he's a henchman of is a villain, and in a card game with a JRPG plot, basically. And as a villain, he gets a final boss form, and let me get a picture of it.
Is it literally just Pepsi Man?
It looks a lot like Pepsi Man. So let me-
Akamu says, Bit, are you aware that 7-Eleven is going to change its marketing in America and put Japanese stuff in it? Is that true?
I
If
hope
that's
so.
the case, I'm lobbying for a 7-Eleven to show up in my town now.
If they put Hatsune Miku in the advertising, that'll be gold.
Here's the
Please.
thing.
Yeah.
My thoughts when you say that, not just like Japanese advertising. I want like not only American products obviously, but I want them to also have like Japanese related products as well. Alongside in the same store. I think that'd be cool.
Yes.
I don't know how profitable that would be in the United States though, but I think that'd be kind of neat.
Stupid Pepsi Man final
Nova
boss form.
also
Okay,
has
here
a
it is.
question here. I have a question for all of you. What is your opinion on Figment from Epcot?
Like
So,
the dragon?
I think so.
I have very little
I
opinion
know
on
it
that one.
exists. That's about it.
He's
Yeah.
a little dragon guy. He looks kind of like Spyro.
there's I don't have an opinion because I don't actually really know of Figment. There's
He had a
Figment
good
of
ride in the
Imagination.
80s, then they broke it. They never fixed it. Fix his ride.
Here's
Ah.
I put it in the okay, I put it in the image share. So that's his final boss form, and
sure.
everyone says this looks like Pepsi Man, and ever since then I've been like, fuck, I can't unsee it.
It does look like anime Sephiroth Pepsi Man.
It's funny
This
you say
looks
that,
like
because
this-
guess who his Japanese voice actor is?
It's Sephiroth, isn't it?
Toshiyuki Morikawa, Sephiroth.
Okay.
How convenient.
It's
I'm looking
probably
at this, and the
intentional.
first thing I thought was, that, like, I was just like, is this like mid-journey generated? That's what I thought. I'm just like, did somebody be like, I want to see what the Pepsi anime would look like? Tick, 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 tick. Done. Ah!
No,
What was it
Shadowverse
because
just be like that.
that one guy? Is that because I said, you know, that I incurred the wrath of ChatGPT and Midjourney? Is that why you threw that at me? I'm sorry, Pepsi anime, says Listless. Give me a minute. The rest of you must suffer. Give me a minute. I don't have it up on the screen. I will do that.
It is sick. Even though I can't unsee it now. The art is still sick.
It totally looks like Pepsi Man.
It does. It does, and I
Yep.
hate it.
Yep.
It does, and I hate it.
Yeah, you
'Cause-
look me
So there
straight
was
in the
briefly
face
a meme of
and
drawing
tell me
the
that
character
that
how
does
he
not look like anime Pepsi Man. It does. Absolutely does. Jesus Christ.
I see you trying to drink new Coke, Cloud.
Damn it!
You say Pepsi Man.
I don't have the stream loaded up on my PC, or I would be clipping this.
Bum 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 bum. Da 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 da.
Bottom.
Someone please clip this and send me the link.
Yeah, so, someone clip this.
Please, somebody, because I can't, and I need to, and I need to show this to like my actual Shadowverse
See, I need
friends
to-
and be like,
I need to set up my
they're gonna
hotkeys on my
fucking
stream
die.
deck. I also need to get into more of a habit of every once in a while there's a scene or like a moment in the stream where I'm just like, ooh, I want to clip that. I could literally set up a button on my stream deck that would allow me to like clip something that's at least like 30 seconds long. I could do that. But my brain, I never remember to press it in the moment. I'm
But
too
it's the
much in the
after.
moment. I don't know. It's like I don't know. I'm not content farm brained enough. I can't think of like, oh yes, I should definitely capitalize on this. It's like, wait, no, I'm just having fun with video games. What do you? You can also make
bring
a clip
their
command and
flavored
yell,
Pepsi.
"Oi, someone type." Oh, ah, shit! I should do that. Thank you, Listless. Good suggestion. Someone type clip. Someone type clip. Now, is that something that's like programmed into like Stream Elements, or is that something that's like on Twitch somehow? I'm assuming it's like a Stream Elements thing. Most stream-related bots have one. Oh. You know, I don't have a heck of a lot of bots in my channels. I should possibly consider that. Maybe. They got rid of the Dreamfinder. Never been on the original ride. Wish I have. Love everything that I am seeing about the Dreamfinder and the one video I was able to find of the original ride. Not entirely sure.
I
what
can
that is.
explain this one if you'd like.
Okay.
Okay. Who here knows what Epcot is?
who doesn't know what Epcot is? I'd be surprised if someone didn't know
Yeah.
what Epcot is.
Okay, so what do you think Epcot is? I want to know.
Epcot, well, you know, the idea was it was Walt Disney's, you know, vision of the future, and that was what it was going to be. But then he died, and then they were
Yes.
like, well, shit. Let's finish it up, but probably not his actual vision.
Yep. So basically, what their interpretation, let's say, of his vision was, let's build a permanent World's Fair that celebrates the advancement of technology and also bringing the world together with this area called the World Showcase. So we have two areas of the park. One of them is Future World, which is focused on all the different advancements and optimism for humanity's future. And the other one is the World Showcase, which shows off all the different nations of the world and how they come together to create a better future. So that's the idea of the park. And in the Future World section, they had different areas dedicated to like the land and communication. And one of the other areas was the Imagination Pavilion. And in the Imagination Pavilion, there was a ride called Journey to Imagination, which was a dark ride where you met two characters. One of them is this kind of Santa-like guy named Dreamfinder. He floated around in this steampunk airship and collected energy from imaginative people, and then uses that to create new imaginative creative works. And he basically talks about how the
I hope that that's a renewable resource and he's not just stealing it from people.
It is. And basically, he goes over how important the creative process is and creativity and using your imagination to dream up great new things. And he teaches this to a nice little dragon that he came up with called Figment, who is an adorable little purple dragon guy.
Huh. Okay.
And it has a really, really catchy song. It has a lot of really, really great effects. And it was overall a really, really great ride and really did solidify what Epcot was supposed to be. Keep in mind that I said it was a great ride.
Yeah.
So what happened was, in order for Disney to actually build Epcot, they were surprisingly not the multi-billion-dollar company that we know them as today. They actually took out a lot of really, really expensive loans to get Epcot built, and the amount of money to build Epcot was half of what Disney, the entire company, had. So if Epcot failed, Disney as a company probably wouldn't exist now. So Disney was very, very strained on their budget making this, because if they didn't do it, they would be dead. And in order for them to get Epcot off the ground, they had to have a lot of outside companies sponsor the attractions. So that means that one of the rides over there, it was in the Wonders of Life Pavilion, which was supposed to be a ride to promote like good health. That was sponsored by Kraft.
Wasn't there what motor company was sponsoring Disney at one point?
I think that was GE, or actually, I know currently it's I think it was Honda, or I definitely know Autopia was sponsored by Chevron at one point. I definitely know that one. But they basically
I just know
have
it's
a lot of
interesting
different
being like,
cars.
what the mouse was.
They have a lot of different companies sponsoring stuff. And the
mouse
sponsor
had
for the
money
Imagination
from-
Pavilion was Kodak.
Frickin'. Well,
And the terms of Kodak's sponsorship was, okay, after 10 years, the ride has to be refurbished and updated, and Kodak has to pay for it. That was something that Kodak agreed to.
List says, good health, sponsored by plastic cheese.
Yep. So,
Yeah, correct.
So Kodak, they decided, okay, after 10 years of Epcot being open, they were like, look, man, we don't want to sponsor this thing anymore. We make cameras.
Yeah.
And so they basically did the absolute bare minimum that they possibly could. And the ride that opened was a new, awful, awful ride called Journey into Your Imagination. And when I say that it was awful, I mean it was colossally bad. What they literally did was the original Journey to Imagination track, the way that the ride ended was you finish the ride, then you get off the ride and take an escalator to the second floor. And then there was an interactive play center called ImageWorks where you could do a bunch of imagination activities, like you could compose a song on a computer, do a bunch of like fun, colorful like things for kids to basically stimulate their imagination. This area was called ImageWorks. So for the refurbishment, that second floor was closed completely. And in order to make space for a new ImageWorks they now had to build on the ground floor, what they did was just cut the ride in half. Just make it half as long. Just cut it off there.
And make you pay for, a full ride, the cost of, and you get half of one. Great.
Yeah, and also, all that whole story about Dreamfinder being the guy who like collects imagination energy and teaches Figment how to be imaginative, and all of those really, really complicated, great sets that they had, all of it's gone.
Yeah, that makes
Now,
sense.
now the ride is themed to the interactive 4D film that was put next door, which was called Honey, I Shrunk the Audience. And now
No!
this is the Imagination Institute, and it's run by a guy named Nigel Channing, who's played by Eric Idle. And his job is to take you through the Imagination Institute and tell you how imagination works. First, by giving the audience a scan with the Imagination Scanner, and realizing, oh, all of these people who are coming over here to ride the Imagination ride have no imagination whatsoever. What dumb people. Let's fix that now. And then they show you a few optical illusions and effects, and then scan you again and say, yeah, your imagination's off the charts now. Good for you. Anyway, ImageWorks is that way. That's the ride.
Honestly,
You'll notice that nowhere in that description did I mention Dreamfinder or Figment. They're both gone.
now the first thing I
Jeez.
thought was, you know what? Since it's Eric Idle, it makes total sense that he would make a joke like that. Just be
Yeah,
like,
but that's
oh,
the actual.
everybody
that was
on
the
this ride
actual
is completely gray and dull Nimrods.
But it wasn't meant to be a joke in the context
But
of
yeah,
the ride. That was
but yeah,
presented seriously.
Yeah, and that's the problem. I think it would have been funnier if he was just like, oh, all you guys are unimaginative as fuck.
Yeah, but
You know?
actually, that's not where the story ends, because after 2 months of that ride being open, actually, I think it was 2 years total. 2 years total, the ride was completely closed and replaced again. And the new version of the ride is called Journey into Imagination with Figment. So they brought Figment back. And the ride is still the Imagination Institute because the refurbishment did not have a whole lot of money. The rumor is that Disney was working on another big expensive ride called Mission Space. And basically, the people who were working on Mission Space saw how dire the Imagination Pavilion was, and they were like, let's just take some of this money and just shove it over there and not tell anyone. Let's just try what we can do to basically put a band-aid on this decapitation.
Yeah.
So they did, and the ride is still the Imagination Institute. It still has Eric Idle saying, hey, welcome to the Imagination Institute. And then instead of it being, let's scan you and tell you all how not creative you are, instead Figment shows up and says, hey, this guy's kind of full of it, isn't he? Let's go over and actually have some fun now. And so basically it's Figment kind of playing a sort of Bugs Bunny to his Elmer Fudd. And that's the current dynamic of the ride, basically saying imagination is best when it's set free.
I like that.
And that is
Cute.
nice. It's a better story than what the second version was, but it's still a huge far cry from what the original ride was. And people have been asking Disney for over 24 years now to please just fix the freaking ride. And Disney has done absolutely nothing. Instead, what they did was they renovated the second floor where the original ImageWorks was, and instead of it having all the old props and stuff there, now it's a Disney Vacation Club lounge.
Ugh.
So you can go
a
up there
good place
if you
for the
subscribe to their
parents to
Time
just
Square plan,
relax.
and they have a
What the
cooler up there where you can get a Coke or a Pepsi. That's the current state of that pavilion, and I have no idea
Imagination,
why they haven't fixed it.
sponsored by Coke.
And Disney, current Disney, is obsessed with just IP and just fleshing out their franchises above all else.
You would
And
like
so-
to think that current Disney has the kind of money that they could fix their rides and their parks and turn them into incredible spots to vacation on. Like,
Oh, they absolutely have the money, but the problem is, why would they want to fix the Journey into Imagination Pavilion when we can't figure out which marketable IP to plaster onto it? Because people don't know who Dreamfinder and Figment are. They're not in any movies. Now, if we were to take it apart and make it themed to Inside Out, maybe.
right.
I'm not gonna lie, that would be kind of fire.
So Disney actually
it'd be
was
interesting.
seriously considering that, and the director of Inside Out and head of Pixar heard this, and he went over to Disney executives and he said, what the fuck do you think you're doing? No, don't do that. People love Figment. You are not getting rid of this ride. I will literally have surveys done and get people to tell you how much they love Figment. You are not putting Inside Out in this ride. And he did that, and the ride is still there.
Well, good. I mean, at the end of the day, they
Damn.
don't care about
You know what?
legacy.
As cool as an Inside Out version of that ride would be, good on him.
Hmm.
Preserving the classic Disney ride stuff.
As much as Disney tries to push the idea that they are really interested in their classics and their legacy and being like, oh, look at Disney, look at where we've gone, look at where we've been, they don't give a shit. They really don't. They're just like, how can we make all of the money now?
Yeah,
and that seems to be their
Disney
MO
is-
for everything now.
Disney is fully aware of how popular Figment is now because have you heard the story about the Figment popcorn bucket?
No.
So
I'm not. I want to
Okay.
hear this.
Okay, so
Please
you know how
exposit.
You know how if you go to a Disney park, then you can go over there and buy like themed popcorn buckets that maybe it's a popcorn bucket that looks like a Pizza Planet truck, or it looks like some other Mickey Mouse themed item or whatever.
They had a Figment one?
They had a Figment popcorn bucket, and the line to buy the Figment popcorn bucket was so long that literally the line went from the entire back of the park to the entire front of the park, and the line did not go down from park open to park close.
How long did they have this available?
Not that long.
Okay. Well, all right. So I guess if it's a limited time thing, I'm sure a lot of people were like, "Oh my god!"
It was a very limited time thing, and the demand for these things is insane, and the scalping scene for it went absolutely nuts. But
That was my next question I was going to ask was eBay. What is the status?
yep, normally the buckets cost $30. If you go to eBay, they cost like 10 times that. It's insane.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Okay.
And they
so-
also put Figment into basically any Disney live service game that exists. Figment's in it.
There
So
we
basically, they'll put Figment absolutely anywhere except Fix His Ride.
God, that sucks.
And it's Kingdom Hearts.
I don't think he's in Kingdom Hearts yet, but
Damn it.
give it time.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
it kind of does make me wonder. Like, it does kind of suck that I understand that there's only so much room that you can have in a specific set of square feet. All right, like,
Actually, that argument doesn't hold water either because Disney literally owns all of the land, and Disney also governs all of the land.
I was just gonna say, like, all right. So the other thing, nothing to do with like, okay, space. All right, I'm gonna make the argument that, like, you know what, having a theme park by itself, especially one that's geared towards, like, you know, children and safety and things like that, I'm willing to bet that that's probably a very taxing thing. And who knows, maybe for some reason they're like, we don't really want to expand just because we want to focus specifically on these rides specifically. Like, it's not about the quantity, it's about the quality. And I can kind of see that from that argument and that standpoint. But, like, I guess my main issue with it is that I just don't like the idea of taking proven and working rides, especially ones that are incredibly classic, and then just going, well, we need to expand and do something different, so yeet. It's like, what? I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. It's a thing about Disney that really bothers me. There's actually this like Disney Imagineer, like someone did like a memoir book or basically like a history of Imagineering type book. And one of the first chapters in that book of how Imagineering does things is a chapter called "If It Ain't Broke, Fix It Anyway." And I'm just like, no, it ain't broke.
Yeah.
It still works fine, and people love it. So why are you changing this? I get that if you want to sort of update or fix a bad effects that was kind of not that great and basically modernize it, but you don't need to cut the track in half and make it worse.
Yeah, it's one thing to be like, you know what? This pyrotechnic system that we had in the previous version, not only is it really dangerous, but also it's like costing us money and also probably not good for environment. How about we go ahead and replace it with this thing? Like, I could totally get something like that because more or less you're getting the same result. It's just slightly different and more updated with more, with something that's, up to date and of the times. I'm fine with stuff like that. Sure, update stuff that way. But don't be like, we're going to completely replace the coupling of the story and we're going to replace the characters. We're going to replace the vibe of the whole thing. Like, if you're gonna do that with anybody, do that with the Small World ride. Why haven't you done that? Replace it with like. I'm kidding, of course. Don't.
I actually like Small World.
Yeah, there are some weirdos that like it's a small world. Okay.
It's a really good commentary on the Cold War. Okay.
Hey, there we go.
No, that's actually true.
Oh, this reminds me. Since we're
That's
talking
not a
about
joke.
Disney
It
parks,
actually is.
I
Like,
mean,
think about it. Think about it. Why is Small World in Fantasyland?
that's valid. But like, let's
What's
talk
the
about
fantasy
Disney
that
parks.
Small World is giving?
Yeah. It reminds me of so in the 80s, Disney made a very let's call it very flawed movie called The Black Cauldron, and it almost
Yep.
bankrupted them. It almost killed their animation department. But I grew up with it with a VHS tape when I was a kid, and I freaking loved it. And imagine my surprise, finding out, even though this movie was a complete and abject failure commercially. Like, it almost destroyed them. It performed so badly.
It made less money at the box office than its main competition, which was the Care Bears movie.
It's still funny.
I mean, yeah. If you're gonna release a movie that's based on the Care Bears, especially in that day and age, holy shit.
The
Yeah,
Care
there
Bears
was
beat
remember there was
the Care Bears movie beat a Disney film at the box office. That's how dire it was.
Timing
remember
I'm
Disney
saying-
was not always the basically by and large from Wall-E. That's where Disney is headed at this point, ironically.
Yeah.
Anyway, I love The Black Cauldron. So imagine my surprise when I found out a few years ago via a very fascinating YouTube documentary about it, that in Japan, and only in Japan, this was only in like Disney World Tokyo or whatever it is,
Oh, I know this
there
one.
was
I
a
know this
Black
one.
Cauldron ride.
Yep.
Wow.
Well, it wasn't
Okay.
really a ride per se. It was a thing you walk through, but it
It
had
was a
the Horn
walk-through
King,
attraction
and it was
that-
dope.
It was a walkthrough attraction that took place inside the dungeons underneath the Disney castle that's in the middle of the parks. You go over there and it presents itself as, yeah, we're going to go on a tour of the castle. It's going to be great. There's going to be magic and princesses and crap. And then you go in there and you think that's what you're getting. And then the magic mirror from Snow White shows up and says, oh, actually, you're going through the dungeons now. And then it becomes a freaking haunted house horror ride. And you go down through all of there, and then you see an animatronic of the Horned King, who's like one of the creepiest villains from the Black Cauldron. And he says, hi, I'm going to eat all of your souls now.
Ooh.
So good luck with that. Anyway, time to summon Satan. And then the tour guide picks out a kid to basically use the sword from the Black Cauldron to defeat him, and then everyone gets a medal.
Yeah, that's cool.
It was
It's
really
so cool.
It's closed now because
Cool.
of safety concerns,
So-
because of earthquakes and tsunamis, but the ride
There we
itself
go.
was really cool.
Akumo says what I was thinking. I can imagine the children being traumatized.
Yes.
That's
Imagine
why it
being-
was
But at the same
awesome.
time, though, that's kind of fun.
Right. Well, imagine.
I mean, that's the fun part.
You know, I was thinking about this earlier. Were we? Oh yeah. So we were discussing a little bit earlier about like, childhood trauma and also injuries and things like that. And I was going to make a point earlier. The childhood trauma is a weird thing because unfortunately, you're never really going to know what's going to do it. Like, you could be the most careful parent on the face of the planet, and you could take your child, wrap them up in bubble wrap, and then at the end of the day, they're suddenly going to have a fear of bubble wrap. Like, what are you going to do? You don't know how their neurons are going to fire. You just kind of have to, like, roll with the punches and see what the heck
Kids
happens.
love scary shit. Okay, kids love horror. This is a thing that people are like, oh, you can't make scary things for kids. No, you can and should, because they love it. In my generation, it was Goosebumps. The current generation, it's YouTube horror shit like Five Nights at Freddy's.
Oh, heck
Like,
yeah. Dude.
this is just a thing that every generation has. Kids love horror and they love being scared, and because it makes them feel brave and grown up. So people always gravitate that kind of thing. So you make horror stuff for kids, and you're like in the money.
Like, you don't
Come on.
throw them existential dread-related horror, or you don't throw them stuff that genuinely has, like, the horrifying tensions thing, or, you don't show them something that, like, will actually kill their brains. But, you can do horror in a way that's, like, palatable to kids. It's been done over and over and over.
Of what?
I mean, one of the
It's
most
like-
popular rides that's at Disney is the Twilight Zone.
Hey!
That's scary.
See, I think that is a ride I would definitely go on for sure. Especially, when was the Twilight Zone ride made, and have they updated it?
The original Twilight Zone Tower of Terror ride is still there. I believe it opened in the 90s. The version that opened in like 2003 in California, technically the ride is still there, but it's not the Twilight Zone anymore. And there's also another version that's in Paris, which is still the Twilight Zone.
I will repeat my earlier statement. Why change the ride? I know eventually, if you keep on adding on to your park, you're gonna run out of park. And also, you're gonna have a real big issue, like a real big thing to work on, okay? I get it. Sometimes replacements happen, but...
Do you want to know what they changed it from? Like, in what they changed it into?
What they changed it into?
Okay, so there's this movie that came out. It's called Iron Man. That came out in 2008. And that created this thing called the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
How do you turn the Twilight Zone into Iron Man?
It's not themed to Iron Man. It's themed to Guardians of the Galaxy.
I repeat my question, except with Guardians of the Galaxy.
Okay, well, have you seen Guardians of the Galaxy?
I haven't, but I know of it. Is there a specific scene in Guardians of the Galaxy?
Okay, so in the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie, there's a scene where they go to this guy called the Collector, and what he does is he takes a whole bunch of random aliens and crap from all across the galaxy, and he puts them into these boxes, and he puts them on display for people to see. And in the new version of the ride, it basically, the Collector has gone on tour, and the Collector planted part of his collection in the middle of Anaheim for some random reason. So you're walking around in the Hollywood area of California Adventure, and you turn to your right, and you see this giant monolithic gaming PC right in front of you, and that's the Collector's building. And inside of it, he has the Guardians of the Galaxy on display.
Ew. I hate it. Please no.
Actually, like,
Burn
way
with fire.
before Disney ride movies were, like, a thing. Because, you know, like, Disney ride movies were, like, a thing for a while. It started with Pirates of the Caribbean. But, like, way, way before that, and this was, like, a TV, and this was, like, a TV movie, there was a Tower of Terror movie.
Yeah, they actually filmed it at
And
the
it's actually
ride.
pretty good. From what I've not seen it, but I've heard it's actually pretty good.
Oh yeah, Nova, you're right. Inside of the Collector's collection gaming PC building, there's a little Figment sitting in there in the top of the building when you're waiting in the line. So yeah, that's where Figment is now. The Collector got him. And when you go on the ride, basically the raccoon character from the Guardians of the Galaxy managed to escape, and he needs your help to go over and bust the rest of them out of prison. So the ride is a mission breakout ride. It still uses the Tower of Terror's ride system, it's just not remotely scary, and instead of them playing like creepy Twilight Zone, like da-da-da-da, instead of that, then he plugs in the main character's Walkman and plays a bunch of 80s hits. So I hope you like Pat Benatar or like ABC by Michael Jackson, or the September song.
Frickin' ew.
Yeah, that's what they play
Lame.
now.
Yeah,
It's still a fun
lame.
ride,
man.
but it's not the Twilight Zone Tower of Terror.
Oh, hey, Muffin is here. Hello. How's it going? Fun fact. My mom actually is like she is a fan. Ow! Don't do that. Ouchies. Anyway, fun fact. My mom is actually both a massive fan of the Twilight Zone, and she's like terrified of the Twilight Zone. She's one of those weirdos that like she really likes. Not like horror, but she does like conceptual horror, I guess. It's hard to say with her. I don't know. She really likes watching Twilight Zone, but she also admits that like, yeah, it's a little traumatizing for her. I'm just like, why the heck do you watch something that's traumatizing? And just like, because I like. Like
Twilight
you just
Zone
want
is more of a lingering psychological type of horror. It's more about horror and like mundane everyday things. It's not really like ooh, look at how gross this monster is. It's more high concept on that.
Right. Yeah,
Like,
it's like, what if you
like,
woke
there's
up
been,
one
like-
day and suddenly everybody didn't know who you were? That's basically it. You know, that kind of thing.
Yeah, or like the one where the aliens come along and then, oh, it's a cookbook.
Yeah,
That-
it's a
that one.
cookbook.
Or the
Yeah,
one where it's Toy Story
Serve
before Toy
man.
Story.
Yeah.
Or the one
Oh
where
yeah, with the
there's
living
or the one with
doll.
Talking Tina, or the The one where there's that one 6-year-old who controls all of reality, and everyone needs to make sure that the 6-year-old is always happy, otherwise they die.
There are so
Stuff
many
like that.
classics of the Twilight Zone. Holy
Also,
shit.
the one where the guy keeps seeing something out on the
There was
monster
something
or
on the
something
wing.
out
There's
of-
something
Yeah.
on the wing!
something on the wing.
Or
So,
the one
I-
where there's that guy and he needs to stay awake because if he falls asleep, he thinks he's going to die in a nightmare that doesn't end.
Mhm.
There's
See,
a lot
because
of great
the one
Twilight
with
Zone
the,
episodes.
Yeah, the one
Nope.
one with the airplane and the one with the kid who can bend reality. I first heard of there is an episode of Johnny Bravo that is just a parody of the Twilight Zone, and it's
The one with Talkie
specifically
Tabitha,
those.
that was great.
I
Yes.
remember that episode, yeah.
And I thought that was, and I thought it was super funny, but I'm like, I always felt like, I feel like there's something here I'm not getting. Like, this is funny, but like, what is this? This is clearly like, they're joking or making fun of something, but I don't know what it is. And then years later, I watched The Twilight Zone, I'm like, I get it now!
And then you learned... You'd be surprised at the kind of weird stuff that's like, you know, lampoons or makes fun of things that you just didn't know was a parody. Also,
Yeah.
Star says it's basically the collector from the Owl House before the Owl House was a thing.
Yes.
I guess.
Tip's been in a ton of things.
I have not
Even
seen
in
the
Hollow
Owl
Knight.
House.
And Alice Neuwager, I'm sorry if I mispronounced that name. Yes, the Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout ride is at Disney. It's at Disneyland in California. Specifically, it's at the theme park directly across the street from Disneyland in California, which is called Disney California Adventure. Which is a Disney theme park
There's two
themed
Disney
around
parks in-
California that is located in California.
There's 2 Disney theme parks in California, 3 in Florida.
Just like
Florida.
when
Epcot
you
is
run
one-
out of room
we were
for a
talking
theme
about
park,
Epcot
make
earlier, and
another
that's one of the ones in
Yeah.
Florida.
Yeah, there's 4 in Florida. There's 4 theme parks in Florida, 2 water parks in addition to that.
Wait, what's the 4th?
There's the Magic Kingdom, which is the Disneyland clone. There's Epcot. There's Disney Hollywood Studios, and then there's the Disney Animal Kingdom.
Yeah.
Hollywood Studios. That's the one I'm like. I always thought that was something else.
That's the theme park where they actually tried to have a theme park that was also a fully functioning movie studio. Like at the same time. And that was a little
yeah.
I
bit
didn't know that
difficult for them
element.
to do.
I thought it was
Yeah.
just like, oh, it's themed around movies. I didn't know they were just like, hey, let's film stuff here.
No, it was actually a functioning movie studio. Lilo and Stitch was made there.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. I didn't know the studio was like. That was literally a studio. Wow.
Yeah, they tried to. The only reason they even built that park in the first place was because they knew that Universal was opening Universal Studios Florida, and they wanted to beat them to the punch.
Ow.
You'll notice that this is a recurring trend with Disney.
Right. Oh,
Somebody
we
else is
must
doing a
not be
thing.
one
we're
up.
We
doing
have
the
to beat
exact
our
same thing.
competitors
I
to
am
the-
making
well,
that
it
bug
used to
movie.
be.
Damn it. Okay.
Well, it used to be, but now it's just like we have no competitors. We own
I love
everything.
how, like,
Yeah. Now
The
it's just
frickin-
buy it.
the freaking Bug movie. So, A Bug's Life is not a bad movie, I will say for the record. I've seen it.
A
It's
Bug's
fun.
Life is super underrated. Like people always talk about like Pixar movies that they don't. When people talk about Pixar movies they don't like or they think are kind of bad, I'm like, yeah, but like A Bug's Life's not very good. I'm like, no, screw you. A Bug's Life is great. It's all
Yeah.
about. It's about fighting back an oppressive class of society.
Like, I will say, like, the point I was gonna make though was that
The-
like it's
the-
ironic that there was so much
Well,
freaking
Bug's
like
Life is
tension
feed the rich to
involved.
birds.
If it's hilarious how there was so much tension involved with the idea of like these 2 studios that were desperately trying to make the best movie about a bunch of bugs trying to fight in like society and like, you know, trying to build up their societies and stuff and like, you know, all that jazz. And then at the end of the day, it only becomes like something that people don't really talk about.
I don't think
This
people
is-
really talk about either of those movies.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's exactly it. Like neither of them, nobody really
A Bug's
talks about
Life
anymore.
because. Yeah, more people should talk about A Bug's Life because again, the moral of the movie is feed the rich to birds. Don't
A
eat the
Pepsi-
rich, feed
wait,
them to
The
birds.
birds, tuppence
This
a
turned
bag.
from a cleaning stream to a Disney stream.
I'm sorry, I
Pepsi
didn't mean for
stream.
it to become a Disney stream.
I
I just
like
have too
Disney.
much crap to talk about.
I like talking about the Disneys. I'm not massively into it,
Same.
but I have like the encyclopedic knowledge of everything. Unlike
that's
this
me.
guy.
Sorry.
It's fine.
Yeah,
You're good.
Someone's a
He's
Disney
cool.
nerd.
See, your tangents go into like fun little trivia. My tangents go into me just rambling like an old man. So, you know. I'll
As
give
long as you don't
that.
start yelling at the sky.
Oh, don't tempt me
Red
because
belt.
those cloud people need to get off my turf. I ain't gonna be a cloud, goddammit! Anyway.
Water yells at cloud.
Evaporation
yells at
comes
cloud.
for us all. Okay.
You gosh darn it! Yeah.
Hey, if it helps though, at California Adventure, which is the park that has the Guardians of the Galaxy ride that used to be the scary ride, they do at least still have Mickey's Death Wheel, which is scarier than any Twilight Zone would ever be.
Okay, I need you to go on that rabbit hole, please.
Okay, so there's this. Who here knows what a Ferris wheel is?
I do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wait,
Good.
are we
It's
are we
the
referring
wheel.
to
If
the
you don't know what
Mickey's
it
Ferris
is,
wheel?
I question if
We
you're a
are
resident
referring
of
to
planet
the
Earth.
Mickey's Ferris wheel.
Who died?
No one died on it. Although someone did
wait,
die at a
are we
carousel
referring to the
yeah,
fact
but-
that it's incredibly fast and terrifying?
No, we're just referring to the fact that the baskets that you sit in are on a freaking roller coaster track, and because they're affected by gravity, they swing back and forth.
Yikes.
And there's no seatbelts, so it just feels like you're gonna get into a construction accident the entire time.
I don't like that.
It's terrifying. I don't know why they call it the Pixar Pal Around or Mickey's Fun Wheel. Those were both names that the wheel had at one point. It should be just Mickey's Death Wheel, because that's what it is.
Okay. I was
I've
confused
ridden it
because I'm just
someone-
like, hold on.
And I will never ride it again.
I think you've told us
Someone
about
will
this.
make a. Someone
Yes,
will
I've
make a
mentioned
horror.
it before,
Someone
but
will make a.
it leaves an impression on you, man.
I don't remember you calling it Mickey's Death Wheel, though.
It's Mickey's Death
So
Wheel.
Mickey's Death Wheel is what someone will name a no budget indie schlock horror movie based on the Steamboat Willie Mickey in another couple of years. Did you guys know
Yeah.
about that? Like
I was just,
Yeah.
I was just
somebody
going to say, give
made-
them 5 years and they'll probably make that.
no, but
Honestly,
someone
there's way
already made
creepier
one.
deaths
Like
that actually have happened at Disneyland.
no, well, true, yes, but also you know how Steamboat Willie was recently written to the public domain, right?
Oh yeah. I own Mickey
So
Mouse
there
now.
was a schlock indie horror film called Mickey's Mousetrap
Yeah.
that was made, and then it was like announced like right when Steamboat Willie went public domain.
Oh, yeah. Are
Because,
you kidding
like-
me? That happened with both, like, Winnie the Pooh. It happened with Mickey Mouse. Like,
That's just
the-
a cheap
the
cash grab. It's
absolute-
not worth your time.
the absolute second that these things became public domain, there were so many people that came out of the woodwork being like, hey, guess what? We're making our own Mickey movie. And I said this back then, and I will say it again. Do not trust anything related to public domain Mickey Mouse until at least 2 or 3 years pass by. Because until that happens, anybody else that's currently using Mickey Mouse is only using it for clout. Nothing
Yep, they're
else.
just doing it because, ooh, look, I can make Mickey like stab a guy or whatever, and Disney would never let that happen. But
Right.
Yeah,
like,
They're
come on.
only doing it for shock value. Now, in
Yeah.
a couple of years, that gives people enough time to actually think about doing something fun with the IP, and then you might see something interesting. But not
Yeah.
before then.
There is one thing that I think I said when it first became public domain that I think would be absolutely hilarious. DreamWorks has the opportunity to do the funniest thing because they're making Shrek 5. Please let it happen.
Do it!
It would be so funny
Do
if
it!
he was the villain of Shrek 5.
Oh, holy shit. Please and thank you. Oh, and there's
did you
nothing
say
they could do about it.
I know.
I completely missed what you said because someone was yelling at me. So
I'm sorry.
Say it again.
So, DreamWorks Animation is currently working on Shrek 5. It comes out in 2026.
did you hear this?
DreamWorks has the opportunity to do the funniest thing in the world, which is make Steamboat Willie Mickey the villain of Shrek 5.
God,
Please.
That would be amazing.
Please
that
do
would
it.
be amazing.
I am begging any reasonable, even a cameo.
DreamWorks, if you are DreamWorks,
even
would
one
proving
simple
they are
stupid cameo. That's all I care about. If they make him the main villain, that's even better.
would be incredible. That would make up for the fact this is a Disney thing. This is not DreamWorks, but if in the Chippendale in the live action animated hybrid Chippendale Rescue Rangers movie that they did last year or whatever, or the year before, I don't remember. The Gadget Hack Wrench cult was not involved whatsoever. I had money riding on that the villain of the movie was going to be Gadget, and it was going to be evolved around her cult, and that did not happen, and it was just the biggest missed opportunity.
I'm so lost.
Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers is a very strange series. Did you know it was originally going to be a show based on the Rescuers?
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
I did know that.
Sounds
But
like
do
that
you
would make
not
sense.
do you not know about the Gadget Hack Wrench cult?
No.
What?
There's an
So,
episode of
Chip
Chip
and
and
Dale
Dale
rescued-
Rescue Rangers. Here, I'll let you take it.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry, you go.
So there's so the show Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers was a show that was originally supposed to be based on the Rescuers. Maybe you could tell that from the name. For some reason that didn't happen. I don't remember the reason why. So
I
they're
do.
like, hey, what was the reason?
The reason is because Michael Eisner thought nobody knows who the Rescuers is. People know who Chip and Dale are. Do it about them.
Okay, so that was
Of
the
course.
reason. So
Yep.
it was a show that became a show on Disney Afternoon. So it was Chip and Dale, and they had two other people on the rescue. They were rescue rangers. There was a guy named Monterey Jack, who was Australian, and there was a inventor girl named Gadget Heckwrench, and she was she is such a furry queen that she has her, and this is a real thing. I'm not making this up. You can Google this and see that this is real. She has her very own cult in Russia, where people worship her as a goddess and actually have like meetings and rituals where they will go and they will actually ritually worship her.
You know, I guess, like, you say that, and the first thing that is coming into my mind is the fact that Jedi is a literal religion. Like, I'm not even joking about that. There are people that actually study Jedi as, like, a religion and call that their religion. So I guess, you know what? The
Intriguing.
world's a strange place.
Yep.
Yep. So because of that, and because when that movie was first announced and like all of the advertising for it, it made it very clear this movie was basically a gigantic joke. It was entirely self-aware. My God, the final movie has ugly Sonic as a character, as in yes, Sonic before the redesign. He is a character in the movie.
That hit headlines.
This movie is fucking insane. It is absolutely
So what you're saying
bonkers.
is it would be funny if so this was like a Chip and Dale thing where, you know, they jumped into the real world thing, right?
No,
It's
so the movie is called Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers, but it's more Who Framed Roger Rabbit 2, where Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers was a show in the universe of Who Framed Roger Rabbit, and then Chip and Dale are the cartoon actors who were in that show, and then it's about them after the show ended.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And one of the characters looks like he's CG now, and the other character is still 2D, and he's like, "Huh, you look different." And then he says, "Oh yeah, I got the CGI surgery done. What do you think?" Like that's how they spin that.
Because the trailer is actually very honest. The movie is just as insane as this trailer.
The movie
if
was
you've
made
not
by The
seen it.
Lonely Island. If you ever heard any of their music,
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
they made it. They actually make movies. They did another one. It was like a pop star parody movie. I think it was, what was it called again? Like, give me a second here.
It's Andy Samberg and John Mulaney
Yeah,
as Chip and Dale.
Good God.
Uh,
How did this happen?
I don't know where to put this. I'll put it in the.
it was called Pop Star, Never Stop, Never Stopping. That was really, really funny. And they also did
Wow,
another
that-
one called Palm
that
Springs,
sounds
which was very
parody-ish.
funny. Yeah, both of those movies are great, and those same people made Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers the movie.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This trailer, I'm surprised you haven't heard of this because this kind of blew up when it first got announced. It was 2 years ago, 2022. It's on Disney Plus if you have that. But yeah, it's not really, it's both exactly what it says it is and both it isn't, because it's not really about, it's not based on the Rescue Rangers show. The Rescue Rangers show exists in universe as the show that it was.
It
But
really
it's
doesn't
really-
have anything to do with the Rescue Rangers.
really
show
doesn't. It's more
specifically.
of a
It's just
stealth
another
sequel.
movie that they happen to throw the Rescue Rangers IP onto.
Yeah, it's more of a stealth sequel to Who Framed Roger Rabbit, honestly. It's way, way, way closer to that movie in
It
like
sounds
every
pretty
single way.
quirky, and I do appreciate that a lot.
It's I rewatched it sort of recently because I was sick and I was like in bed and like I gotta watch a movie or something, so I turned on Disney Plus and I'm like, huh, that Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers movie was pretty funny. I'll watch that again. So I rewatched it again. It's still pretty good. Like
Yeah, it's a pretty fun
the
one.
only thing I don't like about it is this is just kind of something that this was like an unfortunate coincidence, and like the filmmakers didn't know this when they made it, so I can't blame them too much. It's kind of a shame that nobody told them, so they could have, maybe done something about it in the process of making it. But whatever, they didn't know. Is the actual villain of the movie, and you find this out like pretty early on. It's not a twist or anything. It's not really a spoiler. Is Peter Pan, who is grown up, and the sort of like villainous motivation that they give him, it's very sadly similar, kind of draws parallels to the actual actor that played Disney's Peter Pan, who died at a very young age, tragically, of mental health illness.
Yeah, I remember
because
I
of
heard
what
about
he went
that.
through his career, and it's just kind of like, yeah, that hits a little bit too close to real life, to where it's kind of uncomfortable. And
Yeah.
the filmmakers didn't know, and they didn't know this when they made it. I wish someone had like told them.
You think someone
But-
at Disney would have been able to tell them, hey, maybe
You-
don't do that?
Yeah. So it's a little
this is
uncomfy
why-
if you do.
This
you know
is
that.
why every single person out there, or at least every single company, I have full belief in this. I believe that you need to hire on somebody who is extremely hyper-focused on whatever your lore is. Like, literally, just hire them on, give them full salary. If you want, even pay their dental. I don't know. Their literal only job is to just sit in the meetings, and the second they go, you stop everything.
Stop everything. This is way too
Somebody
close
to
to
be the
actual Disney
actually
history,
guy.
and this is not a
Right.
good part of Disney history. You do not want to be nostalgic for this. Don't do it.
Yeah, and in that
Unfortunate.
scenario, that's exactly what would happen. They would just go, "Oh my god!" and then
Yeah.
it's like an alarm bell.
Yeah.
It's a
You want to
natural alarm
hire
bell.
someone to be the actually guy.
Yeah,
To
But,
shift the conversation slightly, I see that Nova asked, should I know what Shrek is?
I was going to mention that.
What?
You haven't seen Shrek? I mean, look, you're probably
How
young.
old are you? Like, legit question. How old are you?
Go back to your swamp, Shrek.
Yeah. I mean, I have to imagine you're probably like just
I have
maybe
to
getting close to your
assume-
teen years, probably. I don't know.
I
don't wanna
have
call
to
you
assume
out.
that person has to be under 15. Like,
Right. Don't give
has
us
to be under 15.
don't give us an exact number if that makes you uncomfortable.
Oh, no,
Just like
that'll
Yeah.
make you
ballpark.
feel older.
Yeah, just let me know if I'm right, or if you're younger than 15.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, the last time that Shrek was relevant, or like ridiculously relevant, was Shrek 2.
Shrek 2 is still the best Shrek movie.
You know?
Yeah, it is. Also rewatched
All
that
I
recently.
can say
when
is
was
that I
sick.
am old enough to have a driver's license. Good
Hero.
enough.
Okay, 16. Okay,
Okay.
16. That's
And when did Shrek 3 come out? I'm gonna look this up real quick.
2008, I believe.
Shrek 3 came out in 2007, so you're close.
7. Okay, it was 1 year
Yeah.
off.
Okay.
So Shrek, well, I can't believe I have to tell someone what Shrek is. This is a weird day. Shrek
So,
was a movie made in, I believe the first one was 2001.
it was a while
2001.
ago.
Yeah, made by DreamWorks, who we talked about earlier, is Jeffrey Katzenberg's Disney with Blackjack and Hookers. And it was basically,
Give me a second.
it is a movie about an ogre who lives in a swamp in a fairy tale world, and he's just a cynical jerk. But then all of these fairy tale creatures start to like mooch off his land, and the only way he can get rid of them is by doing a favor for a. He's not a prince, but he's trying to like become a king. This guy.
He actually is a king. He's the leader of a magical kingdom that only special people can go into. His name is Lord Farquaad.
Yeah, and he
And
is.
you know exactly
he is literally
why he is
Michael
named
Eisner.
that. He's literally a parody of Jeffrey Katzenberg's former boss.
Yeah,
And
Michael
his name
Eisner,
is
who
Lord
was
Farquaad. You know why he is named that.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And he's literally Michael Eisner, who was a guy who was in charge of Disney once and is the guy that fired Jeffrey Katzenberg. And he has to do a favor for this guy by rescuing a princess and bringing her back for him to marry so he can become a king. And but then he ends up falling in love with the princess because again this movie is like 25 years old now. Good lord. And you know this is it's still a good movie. It's still a good movie though. The second one is funnier. Is that she actually well, you know what? I won't spoil it if you do decide to go and watch it.
Just
but
go watch Shrek 1, watch Shrek 2, and watch Shrek 4. They are all amazing.
I've not seen the fourth one. I've heard good things about the fourth one. I've heard like 3 is the bad one. 3 is the terrible one. I heard kind of mixed things about the fourth. So
also,
I think I
if
should
you
finally watch
have
it.
watched, there's one other movie you might have seen that came out recently. It's Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. That is a spin-off of Shrek, and that movie is awesome.
Yes. So,
Puss in Boots is literally a character in the Shrek universe. So
so Puss in Boots started out as a character in the Shrek movies. He was started in the second one, and then there was a first Puss in Boots movie. Well, my gosh, if they don't know what Shrek is, they might not have known about the original Puss in Boots movie because that was a long time ago. Yeah, I was surprised when Last Wish came out. I'm like, really? Puss in Boots 2 this many years later? Okay. And then it was the most awesome thing that year. So.
Right, and then it was badass as hell.
Yeah, Puss in Boots 2 was amazing.
So, I'm actually because at the end of Puss in Boots, at the end of Last Wish, it's Puss in Boots sailing to far, far away, and I'm like, oh my god, this actually has me hype because this movie was amazing. I kind of want to see what they do now, going back to the other Shrek characters.
I didn't like the cat movie. Oh no, you're probably gonna hate Shrek.
You didn't like Puss in Boots: The Last Wish?
Goddamn.
But it's
the Netflix series.
It was a Puss in Boots Netflix show. I forgot about that.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
I completely forget all of DreamWorks' TV shows. I've never watched any of them, and I don't plan to.
The only one I've ever watched and that I cared about was there were 2. I liked the Turbo Show because that was cute and it was made by the people who made Motor City, which was an super underrated show. It was basically Motor City but with snails. It was great. So I love that one. And then the other one was the show based on Home, only because it was show run by Thurop Van Orman, who was the guy who created Flapjack.
Oh, neat.
The Cartoon Network show, The Marvelous Fishes, was just like, there was a show based on Home, which is a DreamWorks movie that I don't know if anybody remembers.
I remember the name, and I remember nothing else about it.
It existed.
I remember it existing, and that's it. I thought the only thing that they were doing it was because there was some big star that played like the main human character in it, and that's it. Like that's the only reason that movie got made.
Yeah, and the guy who played the alien, he was like He was really popular at the time too, because he was on a really popular sitcom.
The girl was voiced by Rihanna.
Yeah, and the guy was voiced by and the alien guy was voiced by Jim Parsons, who was the Sheldon Cooper in The Big Bang Theory, which was like the most popular sitcom of the time. So that's why that movie exists.
Random aside here, I got curious, and I am terrible with math, so I went and I looked it up, and according to this, 2024 minus 2007, that is 17. I'm not going to say that is the exact age of Nova, okay, for the record.
Nova. Baby Nova.
However, based on our observations, it appears that if Nova is anywhere around that age, it makes sense they wouldn't know who Shrek is, because Shrek the Third came out in 2007.
That checks out.
So you're Nova, you are vindicated. It makes sense you wouldn't know who Shrek is because Shrek was definitely past their prime at that point. So
Pretty much so.
Also, fun fact, I watched the original Shrek in theaters.
Same.
And I feel extra old now. Today is just the day of the olds.
Actually, I have a fun story about the development of Shrek. And it also happens to tie into the development of 2 other Disney movies that's kind of funny. Because the same thing happened twice.
Someone in one of the chats mentioned don't remind me they actually finally made a Megamind sequel and it sucks.
No, they didn't.
Mhm.
There is no Megamind sequel. Sure.
Yeah, there is no Megamind sequel. What are we talking
There is no Megamind sequel. There is no Warren
There is no
Bossing
Megamind
Say.
sequel in Bossing Say. Okay.
Nah, I was
What?
so disappointed because like I was so like because Megamind was that DreamWorks movie that everybody loved and was super underrated for years and years and years, and we all wanted them to finally go back to it because it was like it needed more
Yeah.
love, and then they did, and it was just like, you know what, it was a monkey's
It's just
paw
like,
moment.
why did you do this?
They didn't do it. There is no Megamind sequel. The original movie is a great standalone work that doesn't need anything else.
Meanwhile,
Beautiful
I'm
was
just sitting
good.
here going like, what the fuck are you talking about?
I don't know. I think they could really build on the story a little bit. Maybe with like I don't know, a continuation. Maybe we'll call it a sequel.
Nah, who wants that?
Anyway, I want to say something funny about how Shrek was made.
Yeah.
Please.
Before I do, though,
tell
I
us.
need to rewind the clock back to 1992.
Ooh, okay.
So, Walt Disney Company, they just released Beauty and the Beast. It was nominated for Best Picture. Keep in mind, this is before the Best Animated Picture category of the Oscars existed. So, it being nominated
The
for
Oscars
Best
put animation
Picture,
in their own little kiddie pool.
Yeah, but they didn't actually put that into its own little kiddie pool until 2001 when Shrek won. So, this is 1992. The Best Animated Feature category, not a thing. Doesn't exist at all. Beauty and the Beast is nominated for Best Picture, like straight up Best Picture. That's a big deal because it's an animated movie and it was nominated for that. So it didn't win, obviously, but Disney, specifically Michael Eisner, saw, hey, we can make Oscar bait now. So let's keep doing that. Let's find a story that we can make that will totally get us another Best Picture nom. Maybe it'll even win. Who the heck knows? But let's put all of our best people on this movie. It's going to be the big artsy one that talks about a really interesting story, and this is the one that everyone's going to be working really hard on. And so they make this movie, and guess which movie is going to be their big Best Picture push?
The first
For this,
thing
I think it
thought
was actually supposed to be
Shrek, but that's
Pocahontas.
not right.
That's right, it was Pocahontas. That's the one that's going to give them the Best Picture nom.
You know, okay, that
The
actually
story of Pocahontas.
strictly from a thematic standpoint, that kind of makes sense. If you don't
does.
watch the movie,
But in the end,
If you don't know anything about history whatsoever,
if
sure,
you don't
yeah,
know
maybe.
Pocahontas, and if you don't know history, then that makes total sense.
Yes,
Really
and
does
some
make
of the
a lot
people
of
who were
sense
working
now,
on
knowing
Pocahontas,
that.
they weren't
It-
quite performing up to Disney's new Best Picture standard. So they were said, okay, congratulations, you're no longer working on Pocahontas. Go work on this other B movie that no one gives a crap about. It'll come out after Pocahontas. It won't do that great. But just go work on this movie. It's about some lions or some shit. Who cares?
Ah,
The
kiss my
Lion
ass.
King made $1
That was The
billion.
Lion King. So the B team was sent off to work on The Lion King, and the A team released Pocahontas. It did as well as you thought. And then The Lion King happened and is still the highest grossing 2D animated film.
Fuck yes.
And it's The
You
Lion
knowing
King.
now,
You
the
know
fact
what The
that we
Lion King
know
is.
now,
And if you have
Knowing-
not seen The Lion King, first of all, don't see the remake. That doesn't exist. Second of all, go see it. There are like remasters of The Lion King in Blu-ray that are gorgeous. Please go watch the thing. Classic. Love the movie.
I saw The Lion King when it got re-released in the theaters, like not the 2D one, the actual like the real one, the good one.
Yeah.
Got re-released in theaters like some years ago, and I went and saw it again because I wanted to see it on the big screen. Because the last time I was like 4 years old and I didn't remember.
Yeah. I did too. Oh my god, that movie, like, it slaps in theaters.
So good.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Be prepared
Especially
the
like
best song in the
you
movie.
you can't beat like being in a theater and like having the stampede scene happen. Holy shit.
Mhm.
It's just like, okay, wow, there's actually a stampede happening in here. What the It's freaking
Funny
great,
though,
man.
like
Yeah.
it explains so perfectly, like, because Pocahontas being such a mess, knowing that it was like they were trying to Oscar bait it and make it another Best Picture nom the same way they did with Beauty and the Beast, because Beauty and the Beast wasn't a Best Beauty and the Beast was Beauty and the Beast because they weren't trying to be a Best Picture nominee. Pocahontas was the way it was trying to be because they were trying to get a Best Picture nomination.
That reminds me of those moments when, like, I'll be working on something and I'll be thinking, my God, this is my magnum opus. It's the best goddamn thing I've ever made in my life, and everybody is going to love it. And then I release it, and I'm just like, God damn it. All right, well, that didn't go anywhere, but at least I've still got my pride. Anyway, I'm going to make this one stupid little meme video that's going to just peter off and do nothing. And then that takes off. And I'm just like,
Yep.
I'm going to strangle someone.
Yes,
Lion King and Pocahontas was that on like a on
that
a,
was
on
that
a big budget
on a
studio
massive
level.
Hollywood budget.
Yes, but the best part is it happened again. Because let's fast forward a little bit to Jeffrey Katzenberg leaving Disney and founding DreamWorks with Blackjack and Hookers. So he releases Ants, and then he says, all right, the Ants movie was the Ants movie, but now I want to do this really big passion project, and I'm going to call in a favor from basically every single person that I know in Hollywood, which, because I used to be the head of Disney, is a lot of people. And I'm also going to bring over a whole bunch of Disney animators, and we're going to do this really big epic. We're going to tell the story of Moses. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be a musical for some reason, and people are going to love it. And that was the Prince of Egypt. And
Because
anyone
they
who
wanted to
wasn't
It's got
out-Disney
its cult
Disney.
following.
Egypt,
It's got its cult
anyone who
following.
Disney
wasn't
Disney
performing well on the
Disney.
Prince of Egypt was sent over to work on the B movie project with the CG team, and they were making a movie about some ogre.
Yep. Which
And
they
predictably,
basically
the
had to
exact same thing
completely
happened
like
again.
redo the and then they had to like I don't remember all the details about this. You probably know them. Is like they had Shrek was originally supposed to be like a very different movie because it was they were gonna have the main character be played by this one really specific actor, and then the whole project was basically built around him, and then that actor died, so they couldn't actually make that happen. So they basically then had to like redo the whole movie.
I'm trying to remember what that was, because I don't know. I'm not up on my Shrek.
I remember Mike Myers, they did hire him to work on the movie, and then he did, but then halfway through he decided this would be a lot funnier if I was doing it with a Scottish accent, mate. And so they were like, dude, we've already animated half the movie. And then he still did he did the rest of it in with his Scottish accent, and they were like, yeah, this is a million times better. Screw it, we're reanimating the movie. And so they did.
That's a hell of an amount of budget. Like, people don't realize how long and how arduous it takes to, like, do lip sync in anything. Much less a 3D movie, good God.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're blowing basically all of your budget simply from, like, having a character say the line, now's the part where you run away.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
It's the part where you run away.
The Sonic
So, for God's
redesign
sake.
is still a miracle. I'm so glad that actually happened.
Yeah, that's another one. I mean, I know there's a lot of people that are still under the impression that, like, oh no, that was totally going to be like, actually, no. There are people that are like,
No.
it didn't happen. And it turned out that, like, oh, it was a stunt that they pulled.
No, it
Honestly,
It was
no,
not.
at this point, I'm definitely leaning towards, like, no, that was
It was not a stunt.
That was the movie.
No,
that was
they were
the
gonna.
Sonic.
That design was. Everybody told them that design. Told them that design was terrible. The executives did not listen. Despite everyone telling them, no, this design is terrible. Everyone's gonna hate it. They released it anyway. Everyone hated it, and then they were like, "What did we freaking tell you?"
Right.
And
then they got help from Sonic fans, because that's how it always works.
they got help from the ice and freaking ass, man.
Yes! Why is it that every single time somebody in a high-up power is trying to make a Sonic thing, they fuck it up, and it takes somebody from the Sonic, like, community to be like, I'm actually sure it's this. And the moment that they actually listen to the Sonic fan, everything explodes. It's
Murder
happened so many
Sonic.
times. It's happened with the movies. It's happened with, like, Sonic Mania. It's happened with frickin', like, I mean, now we're currently going through, like, a Sonic renaissance, it seems, because there is so much actual good Sonic shit going on, which for years, God, Sonic fans were like, they were drinking vapors.
Ring.
They were high off
They
their
were
own
starving.
supply for years.
The boom era was
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah, so that's funny. We were talking about earlier to like hire some guy to be your actually person. The I don't know if you guys know this, but for I think it was for Sonic's 30th anniversary, they did a they released a murder mystery visual novel. It's free, you can play it on Steam.
I
Called
was
Murder
going
of
to
Sonic
play
the
that at one
Hedgehog.
point.
Yeah.
I have it
And
downloaded.
yeah, it's pretty funny. It's not too long. It's pretty funny. It's you can tell the people who worked on it cared a lot. And you know how you know that they cared a lot? Because there is someone credited in the credits, I'm not kidding you, as lore consultant.
Ha! Yep.
They actually did hire somebody to be their actually person
Good
for the
shit.
Sonic lore for that game.
And the Sonic lore consultant is still working there. That's a full-time position that they have, and they actually listen to him because they're doing a bunch of stuff for Sonic X Shadow Generations. And have you seen the animated clip that they released for the shorts that they're doing for that?
Mhm.
Oh no, I need
Yep.
to see that.
Well, it takes place during the whole Shadows SA2 backstory bit.
Mhm.
Ooh.
And they didn't just look at Sonic Adventure 2 and basically just say, yeah, we know what Sonic Shadow's backstory is. It was in Adventure 2. We're just doing that. No, they actually played Sonic Battle. They remembered Sonic Battle crap.
Oh.
And
I
no one
remember
played
Sonic Battle. I actually love that game.
Well,
I played that
Emerald's in
so
it.
much on the Game Boy.
Emerald's back.
Oh my god, for real?
For real.
Ooh.
Yo, I'm looking this up like right now.
Emerald
Yeah.
Legosi?
So
Emerald
there's
is
a
a robot
robot
that was
named Emerald.
playable in the Game Boy Advance fighting game. He was a robot that could copy other fighters' abilities, and he dies at the end of that game. But he also has ties to Shadow's backstory. So because they're doing all this big Shadow backstory stuff now, they actually did their homework and they played Sonic Battle, and they're incorporating that stuff in.
I'm impressed. Color me impressed. Holy shit. I
Don't
want,
mess around.
I pray, I wish that I collaborate with people that have that level of dedication.
Yeah, it looks absolutely awesome. Also, on the subject of Sonic Movie 3, did you see that the movie's apparently going to be rated PG-13?
No.
So wait, do you mean so Shadow's going to
Whoa.
say the fuck word?
Shadow can say fuck! Yes!
Shadow's going to say the fuck word!
Where's that damn fourth Chaos Emerald?
Fuck you, Sonic. Please, just once.
Fuck you, Sonic. I'm forklift certified.
Forklift certified.
Yeah.
That'd be great. Fuck.
Yeah, I am very excited for that.
Anyway, it has
So
reached
here,
the 11
Sonic
hour.
and Shadow's Excellent Adventure.
Yes, here,
Amazing.
Nova, I'm just going to send you that Sonic X Shadow bit in DMs so you can check it out.
Please
Sure.
do. Thank you.
Enjoy.
All right.
Thank you.
We have reached the 11 hour, which means that I should
Oh
probably
my
start
god. Yeah,
wrapping
it is
things up.
midnight.
Oh, wait.
Yeah.
I think I forgot to bring the Discord call over to here. Good thing I remembered this. Otherwise, like, that would have sucked. Copy Discord call channel. And we're going to head over to the stream end area. And everybody in the call is currently completely deafened by my own stupidity. Yeah, I don't know if you guys are saying anything because I can't hear anything. Anyway, let me paste the reference.
I was trying to sing the YMCA song. Why wouldn't you let me?
YMC. There.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, y'all are back now.
It's the
Okay.
YMCA.
See, everything is still a work in progress over here at BitB Central. But it's cool. We're basically pretty much back to full swing, which is kind of nice. Although
It's like a live service game. That's all you're
earlier
doing.
I had some problems with connecting my phone to the Ethernet port that I've got connected back here, and I'm not sure why. Because I've got Ethernet on my computer, so that's strange. I'll figure it out. Either that, or I mean, Wi-Fi is working. I just recently got that new Wi-Fi router, and that thing's pretty strong. So maybe I don't even need to use wired connection at this point for my phone. I don't know. Anyway, so
Snakes, you say dream job for real in regards to Sonic lore consultant. Oh my god, yes. So I am the Shadowverse wiki admin. So right now I am basically the freelance volunteer Shadowverse lore consultant.
and imagine if they frickin' paid you.
God, and if they paid me,
That'd be nice. Can I get
it would be.
can I get some oh god. What's the term? Not royalties. The term that you use to get like paid like retroactive, that's it. Can I get retroactive payment for the amount of work I've done?
Thing is, I have done some work for them. They had a live stream. They did a live stream in there was an official live stream in 2023 last summer. That I did some graphic design work for, and that's the closest I've gotten to actually officially working for them.
Heck yeah.
But that was something, at least, yeah.
Want to give a
yeah.
rundown for people for the plans. I think we're pretty much set to go to attempt to try and do regular streams again. We did have a really weird... Oh, hello. Kippy has slid in to say goodnight, and also they have subscribed at Tier 1. Thank you. Very nice. Thank you very much for that.
Hey, thanks.
Sorry, there's no notifications on the screen for this part of the stream, but thank you. Anyway, right, we did end up having some dropped frames earlier in the stream. I don't know what that was. I'm kind of hoping that was just one minor hiccup that had nothing to do with the problems we had previously. And if that's the case, I got no problems with jumping back into doing regular streams again. So next Wednesday, that's going to be the start of regular streams, and we are going to be playing through probably the last of Splinter Cell Pandora tomorrow. On Saturday, I am returning to playing Undertale Yellow because we have not finished that, and I want to. I don't know how many more streams there are of that, but we will see. And then, yeah, for Sundays, I will probably be doing some more of this power wash business, and maybe I will come up with some other stuff to do. It's occurred to me, it's been a while since I've done a Jackbox stream, and I think that'd be kind of fun to do.
It'd be fun.
Yeah.
That would be very
It'd
fun to do.
Well, I don't think I've actually played Party Pack 10, and that's been out for almost an entire year. So I think I just need to make an announcement about that one.
A bit. When you get to play Sam and Max?
That is a good freaking question. You gifted me the game.
Because the third game remaster is coming out in August.
Is it?
And I'm gonna be screaming about that a lot.
Oh boy.
Bit, please play Sonic Adventure 2
Devil's
with the Year
Playhouse
of Shadow. Do it for
Remastered.
him.
God, everybody, freaking, everyone's so demanding of me. I swear to God. The Sam Max games that you sent me, were those?
Season 1.
Okay, so it's the
So
it's,
there were three Telltale Sam and Max seasons. First one is Sam and Max Save the World, which is what I got you. The second season, or second game now, is Sam and Max Beyond Time and Space, and the third one, which is my favorite game of all time, is Sam and Max The Devil's Playhouse, and the remaster for that comes out in August.
shit. Okay, I guess I have some work to do. All right, well then that will definitely be a game on my radar
You
for
will
things
love
that I
it.
need to do.
I'm seriously, you are gonna love it. It's so your thing.
I've seen some of the humor from like the Sam and Max stuff in the past, and I think it would be up my alley.
You're gonna love it.
All right.
It's great.
You are absolutely gonna love it.
I mean, heck, like depending on I don't know what day would be the best time for you to be able to see them live, but I do know that I'm going to have an opportunity and open on a Wednesday pretty soon here.
You know what? If you're playing, I will try and make it. If
I will murder a man
if you're
to
gonna
watch
do
it.
it, I will make the time.
I will kill. Okie dokie. I'm going to shut off this phone because it is absolutely smoldering. Also, I think we have streamed just long enough for that filament that I put in there to be dry. Yay!
Yay!
Oh, I didn't mention that during the stream. Yeah, I started drying my filament because it's just kind of been sitting in bags with, with desiccants. Basically, like the, the little, what is it? Like silica gel salt thingies. They've just been sitting in, like, those bags, and I'm like, that's all I can really do for that. But recently, I got a filament dryer, and I picked up a set of airtight, like, vacuum seal containers that are basically, like, big old gallon size, like, Ziploc bags, except, you know, actually airtight, as opposed to what I was using previously. My God, it has improved the quality of my prints significantly. Like, holy crap. I feel like some of the filament that I've gotten have been, like, saturated at the factory and just ruined. And now I've, like, dried out certain rolls that were giving me problems, and it's just like, oh, wow. The sky has opened up, and a whole new world is open to me. Holy frig. But anyway, yeah, that's just another, you know, random hyperfixation on 3D printing that just popped out. But anyway, I've been talking. Frick, Akumu just posted that one picture of. God, that looks inappropriate. Come on, Akumu. Anyway, I'm gonna take off here. Any last remaining things you guys need to say?
Negatory. I will not be here for the next week and a half.
Yep. You mentioned that a little earlier.
If we don't see you again, have a great Monday, everybody.
Hooray!
Wait, that's an optional thing?
Tomorrow's Monday.
It is. For me, it is technically
tomorrow is
already
Monday.
Monday because it's past midnight.
Oh, well then happy Monday.
I wasn't saying like tomorrow being Monday. I'm saying it's optional to have a good Monday. I never
Oh
have a
yeah,
good
that's
Monday.
right. That's kind of up to you. It's just feeling like, do I want to have a good?
Hope you
Well, I
all
hope
have
you
a
have a good
good
one.
Monday.
I'm trying to find a silly sound effect to end things on here.
Stab.
Perfect.
Yay! I'm taking off. See you later, everybody.
See you, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Back.